Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 326. Xuanji Zenren, Enlightenment. Xuanji smiled and said, "No need to do that. I have a secret technique that can break the 6 desires powder." At this moment, Xuanji urged his divine will, endless red dust, and added it to the magic power of creation. Suddenly, the grey magic power of creation turned into a colorful color. Swish. Xuanji pointed his finger and the colorful magic power hit Yilinglang's body. Suddenly, the desire retreated like a tide. The originally rosy face became white, and the confused mind became clear. After a while, Yilinglang regained consciousness, but her face became even more blushing. "I'm sorry," Yilinglang began to say. "At the beginning, I deceived you." With a cold snort, Xuanji disappeared without paying any attention to Yilinglang. He had neither a broad mind nor a magnanimous attitude, but a small heart. He was deceived at the beginning, and now he wants to laugh away the grudges. Dream on. He didn't say that things will change over time, and don't bully the poor young people, which is considered magnanimous. Looking at Xuanji leaving, Yuanyi said with a little embarrassment, "Sister Linglang, my husband still can't let go of what happened in the past. He is very narrow-minded in some things." Yilinglang said, "Back then, I was wrong and lost my integrity. I don't want to make excuses." At this point, Yilinglang took out a token and handed it over, saying, "This is the token of my Shenshu Palace. If you have free time, you can use the token to go to the Du Shenshu Palace." After explaining this, Yilinglang disappeared. The light flashed under her feet, and she disappeared with a little embarrassment. It seemed that only by disappearing quickly could she hide the embarrassment in her heart. In the environment at that time, Xuanji could take advantage of the situation and directly occupy her body. This was reasonable, and could also wash away the shame of the past. It could be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But Xuanji actually gave up. He didn't know whether to say that Xuanji was a gentleman, stubborn and upright, or petty and narrow-minded. However, seeing Xuanji's angry look, she was relieved at the awkward moment. At least being angry meant that Xuanji had let go of most of it. If he wasn't angry, that would be a big problem. Many times, the destructive power brought by silent anger is far greater than that of anger. When he arrived at the other corner of the cave, Xuanji was still angry. But after being angry, he was no longer angry. Facing Yilinglang, what could he say? He said that things change over time, and that young people should not be bullied for being poor. Stop it. By the way, Xiao Yan is not poor. He has a teacher at the peak of Daozun, practices the best martial arts in the world, is loved by the princess of a top wealthy family, is also of Daodi blood, and is also a top genius. He is not poor. Forget it. Don't think about these bad things. Xuanji's mind was working. He cut off the distracting thoughts in his mind and began to clean up the spoils. 3,000 middle grade spirit stones are also a considerable fortune for a giant and cultivator. After reaching the golden core stage, the golden core cultivators can already make lower grade spirit stones. For them, the role of lower grade spirit stones is extremely reduced, and they mainly use middle grade spirit stones when trading. Then, check the elixirs. There are nirvana pills for healing, creation pills for improving cultivation, 4th grade body refining pills, etc. These are all legitimate elixirs, and there are also some unleashable elixirs. 6 desires powder, a 4th grade elixir, one of the top elixirs of the Hehu and Demon vein, which can amplify the desires of cultivators, increasing desires to 100 times. Desires are like fire, burning everything. Without an antidote, even golden core cultivators will be affected. Disadvantages: ineffective for Yuanying cultivators. Xiao powder, a 4th grade elixir, specifically for female cultivators of the golden core stage, which can make her mana dissipate completely within 4 breaths and let others slaughter her. Disadvantages: the mana of a golden core cultivator runs very fast, and with the help of mana circulation, the mana can be wiped out after 4 breaths. Spring breeze powder, if taken between men and women, it can make them feel like being bathed in spring breeze, which can increase the pleasure of each other. There are 7 or 8 kinds of elixirs below, which made Lu Xuanji's mood fluctuate. He wanted to destroy them several times, but in the end he quietly collected them. Then, he looked through some jade books, which contained descriptions of some famous female instruments and some special furnaces. Looking through these books, Lu Xuanji's mood fluctuated. There are also things in the Hehuan demon vein, but some things are too hateful. As for the giant and cultivator who was killed, his name is Xuanji Zenren, and he is a registered disciple of Liu Yu Demon Lord. It's not a big problem, just kill him. On the surface, Xuanji Zenren is a disciple of Huishan, but his status is just like that. If you go directly to the Hehuan gate to ask for it, Liu Yu Demon Lord will definitely not agree, and there may be a life and death battle. But if he falls outside and dies in the calamity, he is too lazy to go to find out who the murderer is and go to catch the murderer. Most of the demon cultivators are selfish and will not help this registered disciple. These dual cultivation techniques and methods of the Hehuan demon vein are far inferior to the yin-yang transformation. The yin-yang transformation has already stepped out of the barriers of the demon path and embarked on the path of evolving all things with yin-yang and interpreting all things with yin-yang. It is extremely terrifying, Lu Xuanji thought, thinking about the techniques he has practiced over the years. In the initial stage, he comprehended many techniques and then used his mobile phone to deduce and evolve the Blue Lotus creation art. Later, he practiced the Yin-Yang transformation, and later he practiced the Pure Yang Sutra. The 3 major techniques became his core. At the beginning, the Blue Lotus creation art was his core. But gradually, the Yin-Yang transformation became his core, and gradually the Blue Lotus creation art and the Pure Yang Sutra became auxiliary. Mobile phone deduction, destiny deduction. At this moment, Lu Xuanji's mind moved, and he suddenly had infinite inspiration. He closed his eyes and urged the destiny deduction to start deduction. This time, he wanted to combine the 3 major techniques and evolve his own path. The creator creates the evolution, change, and metamorphosis of life. It transforms into death, extinction, and extinction. Yin and yang, time is yin, space is yang, water is Taiyin, fire is Taiyang, wood is Shaoyang, gold is Shaoyin, and earth is both yin and yang, old and young. Pure yang is the purest yang of gold. Lu Xuanji was comprehending and pushing the mobile phone to calculate. The deduction of fate continued, and the technique was changing and evolving. In the process of evolution, the mana was consumed violently and turned into energy for the mobile phone to deduce. At the beginning, the deduction speed was slow, but gradually the deduction speed became faster and faster. At this time, Yuanyi approached and was about to step forward to talk about Yilinglong, but the moment she opened her mouth, she covered her mouth and left quietly. She was afraid that her voice would be louder and break her husband's enlightenment. Her husband was trapped in enlightenment. Such an opportunity would not come once in 100 years, or even once in a lifetime. Yuanyi stepped aside and guarded carefully. Chapter 327, Derived Spiritual Roots, Complete Spiritual Roots. About 3 days later, Lu Xuanji's body became dry, and his skin became dry, giving people a feeling of exhaustion. This is a sign of excessive loss of mana during comprehension. Yuanyi stepped forward and fed him a fortune pill. Lu Xuanji's dry body became more lively and rosy. Time passed, and about 10 days later, Lu Xuanji laughed. His face became more rosy, and he laughed. What a pity, what a pity. At this moment, he felt his body was a little stiff, his arms were a little dry, and there was no moisture. His body was floating, his legs were a little painful, and his waist was a little painful. Husband, look at yourself. Yuanyi took a mirror. Looking at himself in the mirror, Lu Xuanji was shocked. What the hell was that thing in the mirror? He took out the spiritual liquid and drank it, extracting the energy from the cave bead to make up for his own loss. After a long time, his body returned to its original shape and looked good. Husband, how is this enlightenment? Yuanyi asked. I have gained a lot, and gained a lot of enlightenment. I have reorganized the golden elixir and the exercises. I'm in a better state than ever before. Lu Xuanji smiled. It's a pity that my comprehension is still a little bit poor, and I can't comprehensively sort out these exercises. I just improved my cultivation a little. Speaking of this, there is endless regret. Yin-Yang transformation, pure Yang Sutra, etc. are all scriptures left by immortals. After his comprehension, he wanted to integrate them and create his own supreme exercises. Unfortunately, he still lacked a little and failed to create a scripture. But he has a new understanding of these two scriptures, and the degree of fit is increasing. In the Danshan position, the golden elixir turned into the size of a grain of rice, like a black hole in motion. In the black hole, the yin and yang energies are circulating, and they are constantly born and destroyed. The yin and yang energies are derived and transformed into the power of creation, which can be transformed into endless vitality and nourish all things. But if the yin and yang energies collide, they will turn into the positive and negative forces of destruction, and then annihilate all things. In terms of realm, it is still the fourth transformation of the golden elixir, but the combat power has increased by more than 2 levels. The upper limit of mana is increasing, and the golden elixir can accommodate more mana. Congratulations, husband. Xuanji smiled. Thank you for taking care of me these days. Lu Xuanji said. Xuanji said, husband, what do you think of Sister Linglong? No opinion, just a passerby. Lu Xuanji said, his words calmly, without a trace of ripples. Sister Linglong has regretted what happened back then. Before leaving, she even left a token. Husband can go to the Yi family or the Shenshu palace. Xuanji said, don't you want to continue your relationship? No need, let the past be the past. Lu Xuanji said calmly. Xuanji wanted to say something else, but turned into silence. Activating the escape light, the two disappeared. In just half a day, the two returned to the Lu family. After arriving at the Lu family, Xuanji went to deal with the family's common things, but Lu Xuanji went to the medicine garden, took out 2 bags of spiritual medicine seeds, and began to plant them. The first spiritual medicine seed is called Yanling Ko. This grass can allow mortals to derive spiritual roots. The first grade spiritual grass has only a 1000th chance of allowing a mortal to develop spiritual roots. The second grade spiritual grass has a 100th chance. The third grade spiritual grass has a 1/10th chance. The fourth grade spiritual root has a half chance. As for the fifth grade spiritual grass, it is certain to give birth to spiritual roots, and at least 3 spiritual roots. For low-level cultivators, it is almost impossible for mortals to develop spiritual roots. But for Chindan cultivators, it is just very difficult. But for Yuanying cultivators, it is just a bit of a loss. If everyone in this world has spiritual roots, everyone can practice cultivation. Lu Xuanji's mind moved, and suddenly thought of a proposition. But he quickly shook his head and directly denied this idea, because there were not enough resources. It is said that in ancient times, everyone had spiritual roots and everyone could practice cultivation, but the consumption of world resources was also huge. After a period of time, it entered the Dharma ending age. Later, only a small number of people awakened their spiritual roots and embarked on the road of cultivation. Not only that, in ancient times, there was no difference between good and bad spiritual roots, and the 5 spiritual roots were not necessarily worse than the heavenly spiritual roots. Because in that era, there were many resources, enough to support the consumption of the 5 spiritual roots. But in this era, the 5 spiritual roots have become useless spiritual roots, because the world cannot support such a large resource consumer, because of the large resources consumed. With the development of the world, those physiques and spiritual roots that consume more resources are tired of by heaven and earth. Not only are they slow in cultivation, but they also have particularly bad luck, and they are gradually reduced to useless bodies and useless spiritual roots. On the contrary, those physiques and spiritual roots that consume less resources are protected by the luck of heaven and earth, and have a bright future and endless possibilities. As for the 5 spiritual roots being invincible in the same realm, I'm sorry, this doesn't make much sense. After 100 years of cultivation, with the same resources, the 5 spiritual roots are only at the 7th level of key training, but the heavenly spiritual roots have long been purple mansion cultivators. Even if the 5 spiritual roots are invincible in the same realm, can they still cross more than a dozen small realms and defeat the heavenly spiritual roots? Don't dream. Converging thoughts. Another spiritual medicine seed is planted. This spiritual medicine seed is called Bulinkao. As the name implies, the soul replenishing grass can complete a certain spiritual root for a cultivator. After a period of time, the soul replenishing grass will show different properties when planted in the spiritual soil. Some will show gold properties. If taken, gold spiritual roots will be derived. If it has earth properties, earth spiritual roots will be derived. If it has wood properties, wood spiritual roots will be derived. Soul replenishing grass will only be useful to cultivators after reaching the 4th grade. For example, if a cultivator has 2 spiritual roots of gold and wood, after taking the soul replenishing grass with fire properties, it will be derived into 3 spiritual roots of gold, wood and fire. If a Chindan cultivator wants to have all 5 element, he can take the corresponding soul replenishing grass and turn it into a 5 element spiritual root. Of course, only Chindan cultivators will think about completing their spiritual roots, increasing their own properties, and making their own attack methods more diverse. As for cultivators below the Chindan level, if they take soul replenishing grass, their spirits will become chaotic, their cultivation speed will slow down, and their own path will be affected. The spiritual herbs can give birth to spiritual roots in mortals. If the son of a Yuanying's engine is unlucky and happens to be a poor man without spiritual roots, he can use the spiritual herbs to derive spiritual roots and embark on the path of cultivation. As for Chindan cultivators, if they take the 4th grade spiritual herbs, they can diversify their spiritual roots and attack methods. But these 2 spiritual herbs are a bit useless in terms of medicinal effects, and they don't seem to be of much use. Xuanji thought. He still remembered that at a Chindan stall, after spending 200 medium grade spiritual stones to buy a certain divine material, these 2 bags of spiritual medicine seeds were given to him as a gift. Chapter 328 Luzan returns. Yanling grass can give birth to spiritual roots in mortals. It is very important to the Lu family. After all, the birth of spiritual roots is accidental. Every year, there are cultivators who find that their children do not have spiritual roots and can only be sent to the mortal world sadly. Yanling grass gives those low-level cultivators a glimmer of hope. Of course, it is only a glimmer of hope. Looking at this packet of seeds, there are about 18 seeds. It takes 200 years to cultivate a 1st grade, 500 years for a 2nd grade, 1000 years for a 3rd grade, 3000 years for a 4th grade, and 10,000 years for a 5th grade. If you use the power of creation to accelerate the ripening, you can shorten the growth time of the spiritual medicine. It may only take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, or 100 years. The price of a 1st grade spiritual medicine is 200 spiritual stones. The price of a 2nd grade spiritual medicine is 2000 spiritual stones. The price of a 3rd grade spiritual medicine is 200,000 spiritual stones. The price of a 4th grade spiritual medicine is 2 million spiritual stones. And the price of a 5th grade spiritual medicine is 20 million spiritual stones. Taking spiritual herbs of different grades, the probability of giving birth to spiritual roots is 1000th, 100th, 100th, 50%, and 100% respectively. Depending on the family situation, many people can only afford 1st grade and 2nd grade spiritual medicines. As for 3rd grade and 4th grade spiritual medicines, don't even think about it. When that time comes, you can try your luck of 1000th or 100th. Xuanji estimated the cost and the purchasing power of the family. First, it cannot be sold too expensively to satisfy the lower level cultivators. Second, it cannot suffer losses. Appropriate losses are not a big problem, but long-term losses cannot last long. Finally, it depends on luck. On the road of cultivation, it depends on luck, and see if some people can grasp that 1000th or 100th probability. The more you analyze, the more you find it useless. Having spiritual roots is just the beginning, and it is difficult to achieve something. The involution of the cultivation world is fierce. In the world of immortal cultivation, 90% of the cultivators have been practicing hard for a lifetime, but are still in the key refining realm. They are a group of miserable people, the bottom cannon fodder of the world of immortal cultivation. After thinking for a while, Xuanji planted 15 seeds in the spiritual field and kept 3. He set up formations around to prevent outsiders from disturbing or destroying it. Then, he took out the seeds of the replenishing spirit grass. The replenishing spirit grass can replenish the spiritual roots of the cultivators. In fact, because of the existence of the replenishing spirit grass, the cultivators with 5 spiritual roots are becoming less and less valuable. Imagine that a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots spends a lot of resources, spends a lot of time, goes through hardships, and finally achieves the golden elixir. A cultivator with a heavenly spirit root, relying on the advantage of the heavenly spirit root, enters the purple peak in a very short time, and with very few resources, and then takes the replenishing spirit grass, to directly change himself to 5 spiritual roots. And then achieves the golden elixir. Both are 5 spiritual roots golden elixir, and the resources and time spent by the former are several times, or even more than 10 times, that of the latter. I can also use the spirit replenishing grass to directly complete the spirit roots and turn them into 5 spirit roots or 8 spirit roots, Xuanji thought. Thinking about the benefits of completing the spirit roots. The biggest benefit of completing the spirit roots and increasing the number of spirit roots is that there are more types of spells and more attack moves. Some complex spells can be cast, just like the fire type heavenly spirit root, which can only cast some fire type spells. As for water type spells, gold type spells, etc., not only can they not be cultivated, but they cannot be used. But if the spirit roots are completed and turned into 5 element spirit roots, various spells such as gold, wood, water, fire, and earth can be cast, with a variety of tricks and continuous killing moves. According to legend, the Emperor of Samsara had 5 spirit roots, but later he used the spirit replenishing grass to increase the thunder spirit root and turned it into 6 spirit roots. With the 6 major spirit roots as the foundation, he evolved the 6 reincarnations, killing an era and becoming famous. As for the disadvantages, it is unnecessary. Why do people with natural spiritual roots cultivate faster? It's because they specialize in a certain department, but cultivators with 5 spiritual roots need to master 5 departments. It's like when they were in college. 2 students had similar IQs. One student specialized in a certain major, and the other specialized in 5 majors. After 5 years, the former must have achieved more. The magical powers that top masters have are only 3 or 5 moves, but they are unique and can do anything. But top cultivators want everything and want to learn everything, but they are not proficient in anything, and they achieve nothing. Suppress the impetuousness in your heart and open another paper bag. There are 5 seeds in it, planted in the spiritual field and watered with spiritual springs. Then stimulate the magic power of creation to ripen. In just 3 days, the seeds sprouted. After a month, they grew to 1 inch high. It is estimated that with the magic power of creation to ripen, it will take at most 80 years to enter the 4th grade. At home, I plant spiritual herbs, take care of spiritual medicines, and cultivate spiritual veins. In his spare time, he and Xuanji had a leisurely and comfortable life. Time passed, and another 20 years passed. Xuanji felt a familiar breath approaching, and hurriedly got up, and said to Xuanji, "Our son is back." Xuanji was also dressed and walked down the bed with a little joy. Soon, he saw his eldest son Luzan. At this time, Luzan's breath was strong, and he had entered the purple mansion realm. His pure yang blood was like a burning sun, with a sense of deterrence. Looking from a distance, it gave people a sense of power. "Greetings, mother." "Greetings, father." Luzan stepped forward and said respectfully, "The stinky boy has grown up. He is only over 90 years old and has entered the purple mansion." Looking at his eldest son, Xuanji said happily, "Among the geniuses I have seen, in terms of talent and qualifications, you can rank second. Who is the first? Is it Xuanji?" Luzan asked. "No, the qualifications of Xuanji are on the same level as mine. It's your aunt Yifixu." When Yifixu was mentioned, a trace of excitement and joy flashed in Xuanji's eyes. Xiaoxu, in her 80s, she has achieved the Dao of Zifu, and not long ago, she achieved the Dao of Yuanying. Father is much worse than her, and you are also much worse. Lu Xan said, Aunt, is she really that powerful? Your aunt not only has the spiritual root of the fire element, but also has the innate Dao fetus, and her luck is amazing. Lu Xuanji said, with some nostalgia in his expression, thinking of Yi Fixu. Yi Fixu said that after achieving the Dao of Yuanying, she would go home to visit. But she has arrived at the Yuanying realm, but she has not returned home yet. She doesn't keep her word. At this time, Lu Fan also arrived, and went forward to greet his brother. Lu Xan smiled, and gave some gifts to his stinky brother. The gifts were not very precious, but just right. He gave gifts to his parents again. A fourth great shield was given to Mother Yuanyi, and a spiritual ore was given to Father Lu Xuanji. At the dinner table, all kinds of gifts were presented, and the family gathered together to eat a reunion dinner. Chapter 329, The Wolf Tribe, Keeping Humans in Captivity. At the dinner table, the family had a reunion dinner in harmony. Yuanyi asked, and Lu Xan answered. Lu Xan talked about the various things she had encountered over the years, as well as some interesting things that happened during her travels. Lu Xuanji only asked occasionally, leaving the initiative to the mother and son. As for Lu Fan, he just lowered his head to eat, and only looked up occasionally, with a flash of envy in his eyes, and a hint of inferiority. Among the family, the parents have good qualifications, have already condensed the golden elixir, have a bright future, and even have some hope for the nascent soul. As for the eldest brother Lu Xan, he is a natural spiritual root, has a pure Yang Taoist body, and has a promising future. Only he has the worst qualifications, with only 5 spiritual roots, and now he is only at the 3rd level of foundation building. The more he thought about it, the more inferior he felt. Lu Xuanji asked, Xana, what are your plans? Yi Xan said, Father, I plan to go to the Gixu Sea. Lu Xuanji frowned slightly and said, the Gixu Sea is a mysterious place in the sea. It is rumored that in ancient times, there was a great war between immortals and demons there, which turned a sea into ruins. The sea water entered the turbulent void, and there were waves of destruction everywhere, as well as various different spaces. In the Gixu Sea, there are many ancient ruins, some damaged caves, some remnants of the war between immortals and demons, and many treasures, evil spirits, and turbulent destruction. There are ancient elixirs, spiritual weapons, broken fragments of immortal weapons, etc., as well as the skeletons of some strong men, some fierce beasts, etc., which are dark in it. Although the opportunities are not small, the dangers are also not small. The environment is extremely harsh, killing people and robbing treasures constantly, and there are various broken formations. Even many Yuanying cultivators have fallen in it. Of course, these are actually nothing. The key is that some people there are very dangerous. There are many cultivators killing people and robbing treasures. It can be said to be chaotic and brutal. There are countless immortal disciples and demon disciples who go there to explore. Some have adventures and soar to the sky, but more people fall into it and die. Do you really want to go? Lu Xan said, my child, of course I have to go. For immortal cultivators or demon cultivators, the most important thing besides cultivation is to travel the world and look for natural treasures and ancient relics. This is a necessary part of cultivation. The greater the adventure, the deeper the immortal fate, and the brighter the future. If a cultivator wants to achieve something, he must have great perseverance and persistence to succeed a little. But the other half depends on luck. As the saying goes, man proposes, God disposes. Without strong luck and opportunities, how can you achieve great success? Relying on one's own strength alone is not enough to reverse the destiny and change one's fate. One must rely on external immortal fate. It's better to try for immortal fate than to practice hard for 10 years. Lu Xuanji said, Xana, why do you think you can get opportunities and get some treasures in the Gixu Sea instead of dying there and turning into ashes? Lu Xan said, my child, you have great luck. Haha, great luck. Lu Xuanji laughed, my child, have you ever thought about why some people can have a wonderful encounter, soar into the sky, and achieve the golden elixir, while some people have been searching for decades outside, but have no wonderful encounters, no opportunities, and are just ordinary people? Why is that? Lu Xan also asked. In the past, he understood all this as luck. Luck is luck. But as he entered the purple mansion, he felt that the cause and effect of heaven and earth were entangled in the dark, and he found that things were not simple. Xuanji smiled and said, "No more talking. As a father, I will give you some small gifts." As he said that, he handed over a gold medal. Xuan took the gold medal and just dripped blood to refine it, and he understood the function of the gold medal. The gold medal contains 3 moves of peerless magical powers. Activating the token can emit pure yang true fire to burn everything, comparable to the attack of the golden elixir. It can also activate the golden light that stretches the earth and instantly move to a distance of 3,000 miles. It can also evolve into a black tortoise guard under passive conditions, to resist the attack of the golden elixir. These are all life-saving items. Of course, the biggest role is to activate the golden token, which can transmit sound thousands of miles away, to ask for help from his father. But at the critical moment, it can save his life. "Thank you, father," Xuan said. "My son, there is also this." Yuan seemed to think of something, and took out the destroyed heaven cannon, and handed it to his son. Xuanji looked at this scene, his arms trembling slightly. He wanted to curse the loser, but he gritted his teeth and held back. After the family dinner, Xuan disappeared and went to retreat. Lu Fan also disappeared. The family returned to peace. After staying at home for 3 years, after sorting out the harvest, Xuan disappeared again and went to the Gixu Sea. A few years later, Xuanji was practicing, and suddenly the token on his waist rang, and a message came. "Come quickly." Just 2 words. Xuanji felt that a storm was coming. His figure flashed and disappeared. A moment later, he arrived at Xiang Mountain and saw Jinzi. "What happened?" Xuanji asked. Jinzi said, "The war is about to begin." Xuanji's heart skipped a beat. He felt a little afraid and worried, and said, "Who are we going to fight against? The demon clan, or the evil clan?" "This time, we are going to fight against the demon clan, attack the Xuan Mountains, and focus on Xianlang Mountain." Jinzi said, "This battle has been decided by many nascent soul elders, and it cannot be refused. I must participate, and you must too." "What's the intelligence on Xianlang Mountain?" Xuanji asked. Jinzi said, "Xianlang Mountain is located in the northwest of the 100,000 mountains. There are tens of millions of wolves living and breeding there. There are 5 Yuanying strongmen and 18 giant cultivators. As for the purple mansion cultivators, there are only 200. As for the other low-level monsters, there is no statistics at all. Of course, these are just surface intelligence. How many cards are hidden in secret is unknown." This time, the Yuanying of the human race sent an army to attack Xianlang Mountain, mainly because this lineage has 20 million humans in captivity in the depths of the mountain. Those human monster kings have kept a large number of humans in captivity, raising them like livestock, and eating them as blood regularly, which has greatly violated the bottom line of the human race. After discussing, many Yuanying's engine of the human race decided to take action against Xianlang Mountain, and destroy this line of monsters. It is also a warning to some people, to warn those monsters who are hostile to the human race, and not to act recklessly. Some things cannot be done. If you do it, the human race will destroy their race. In the words, there was murderous aura, as if a storm was about to come. Xuanji listened, his mind was shaken. The war is about to begin, and it's about to be a bloody fight. In the previous beast-tide battles, it was mainly the cultivators below the nascent soul stage who fought, and the number of casualties was limited. But this time, there are nascent soul cultivators who will join the battle, and both the scope of the impact and the scale of the battle are far beyond the previous ones. Chapter 330 Lufan, the child is not a waste. Thinking about the upcoming war, Xuanji's mind was trembling, with terror, uneasiness, and fear. In the past, the demon race launched beast tides many times. It seemed that the war was very tragic, and countless cultivators and humans died one after another. As for the participation in the war, the number of dead demon beasts was even greater, and the casualties were even greater. But in fact, it was nothing. Because both sides wanted to use the war to consume the excess population and train soldiers in the war. If the demon race in the 100,000 mountains did not launch a beast tide, the demon race would inevitably fall into civil strife, and the internal fighting would inevitably intensify. Similarly, if the human race did not go to war with the demon race, it would also fall into internal consumption due to insufficient resources, and many immortal cultivation families would go to war. But with the beast tide and the venting target, the major immortal cultivation families in the human territory have become more harmonious. The tribes and races of the demon race have also become relatively united. Frequent wars also have benefits, which can accelerate internal unity. But all this premises that there is no Yuaning's engine participating in the war. Once Yuaning's engine participates in the war, the situation of the war will change drastically and will go out of control. The two sides were caught in a full-scale war, and Yuaning's engine might die, and Jiandan Zenran like him might also die. Why did Danliang sect suddenly declare war on the demon clan? Lu Xuanji asked. The Xianlang clan keeps the human race in captivity, which is one reason, but this reason alone is not enough. If such a war breaks out, regardless of victory or defeat, the Danliang sect will suffer great losses. Resources. Fight for resources. Xuanji said, when you reach the Yuanying realm, you will not fight for loyalty, nor for grudges, but only for resources. After reaching the Yuanying realm, the resources consumed in each realm are numerous. Yuanying cultivators are also short of money. Only high-grade spirit stones, top-grade spirit stones, 5th grade spirit medicines, and some other treasures are useful to Yuanying cultivators, and they all exist in the demon clan's territory. For resources, we can only choose to declare war on the demon clan. Among the many demon clans, the Xianlang clan is the most hostile to the human race, so we can only choose to destroy it and harvest some resources. At this point, Xuanji was murderous. Lu Xuanji said, if it does not involve secrets, can you tell me how to fight? If it involves secrets, then there is no need to say more. In fact, there is no secret at all. It is nothing more than besieging a point and attacking reinforcement, and making a feint to the east, and attacking in the west. In such a large-scale war, it is almost impossible to completely hide information. You can only release too much information to confuse the enemy. Many times, too much intelligence will make the enemy lost, and not know what to choose. Xuanji said, I will give you 3 days to reorganize the troops. The Lu family's cultivators must be dispatched at least 6 levels. Don't hide. This is a military training. Although it is extremely dangerous, it can also hone your will and improve your fighting will between life and death. Don't have the idea of preserving your strength, and don't think that the situation is not good and evacuate quickly. I know. Lu Xuanji nodded. It is also a complete break from the idea of preserving strength. Lu Xuanji asked, will Xianling sect and Kaotian sect take action? The 3 major sects of Chu state seem to be 3 sects, but in fact, they are integrated. When Danliang sect attacks, the other 2 major sects will also take action to attack Xuan Mountain, and contain some powerful monsters. Xuanji said, this is a war involving cultivators above the 7th level of Chu state. I only know part of the changes in the battle situation. I'm not clear about some changes in the situation. Lu Xuanji asked some questions again, and Xuanji responded. After talking for a while, Lu Xuanji left. Back home, Lu Xuanji summoned the elder, Yi Wanyi, and other elders. A day later, the foundation building cultivators, purple mansion cultivators, golden elixir cultivators, etc., all gathered together. At this moment, the Lu family is quite prosperous, with more than 10,000 cultivators, nearly 2,000 foundation building cultivators, nearly 100 purple mansion cultivators, and 3 golden elixir cultivators. Unless there are special circumstances outside, or they cannot be contacted, most of them gather here, and there are people at the 9th level and 5th level gathered here. Another war is about to start, and we have to fight against the monsters. This time, the Lu family has a 6th level cultivator going to fight against the monsters. As for victory or defeat, life or death, I can't say for sure. Even I may die in this great war. But as long as you survive, you will have great gains. Lu Xuanji said, in this battle, if both father and son are cultivators, the father will participate, and the son does not have to go. If both brothers are cultivators, the elder brother can go, and the younger brother does not have to go. If both husband and wife are cultivators, the husband can go, and the wife does not have to go. Now, I order some people to participate in this battle, and some people do not have to participate in the battle. Taking out the roster, Lu Xuanji began to call out the names. There are only more than 1,200 cultivators participating in the battle this time, and everything is arranged by calling out the names. Among the 3 Jinden, Lu Xuanji and Yuanyi must participate in this battle, and the elder will stay at home. There are also some young cultivators who have not grown up yet, who stay in the Lu family. Most of the elite cultivators will follow to fight. If all these monks were wiped out, it would bring disaster to the Lu family. But the Lu family could not refuse, and Lu Xuanji did not intend to refuse. Over the years, he had enjoyed the protection of the Lu family, so he had to fight for the Lu family. Thinking about enjoying the benefits of the Lu family, he wanted to avoid responsibility and refused to go to the battle. He was dreaming. At the moment of joining the battle, you must not retreat without my order. If a monk retreats or flees in battle, I recognize you, but my sword does not recognize you. Lu Xuanji said murderously, on the battlefield, there is no father and son, no family affection. We understand. Everyone said in unison. Everyone go down and prepare. Now the Lu family will open some secret vaults, and some treasures will be sold at a half credit price. You go down and prepare. Lu Xuanji said. Everyone nodded and left. At this time, Lu Fan stepped forward and said, Father, why is my name not on the list of people going to the war? I, your father, will go to the battlefield. As for you, you don't have to go. Lu Xuanji said with indifference, you should stay at home, sleep with women, and have children. Lu Fan stepped forward and said, Father, I already have more than 1,000 children. I have done almost everything I should do. I want to go to the battlefield to prove that I'm not a waste. Lu Xuanji looked at his son with sharp eyes, like a knife. Lu Fan felt oppressed, but he still bit the bullet, and looked into his father's eyes. He was afraid in his heart, but more of it was persistence, unwilling to be a waste. Can you do it? Lu Xuanji asked. Father, I can do it. I'm already at the 3rd level of foundation building. Proficient in magical powers such as the 5-color divine light and the 5-element divine thunder, and my combat effectiveness is not bad at all. Lu Fan said firmly. I may not be able to take good care of you on the battlefield. Lu Xuanji said, if you die on the battlefield, you are really dead. In the battlefield, the enemy will not show mercy to you, just because you are the son of Jinden Zenran. My son is not afraid of death. Lu Fan said. Okay, then go. Lu Xuanji nodded. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 331, Deep into the Demon Tribe. In the hall, Lu Fan left happily. Lu Xuanji sighed, wanting to say something, but remained silent. It's good this way, the mind and will can be transformed in battle. Some Jinden often fight and fight, have excellent fighting skills, have rich fighting experience, have experienced life and death trials, have firm beliefs, and have extremely terrifying fighting power. But many of the monks of the Lu family lack the corresponding battles, lack combat experience, and have relatively poor combat power. It's just right to use this battle to temper the spiritual will of the monks of the Lu family. Half of the monks who went out on this expedition may die in the battle, but as long as half of them survive, they are elite, and the probability of entering the next realm will increase accordingly. Then, Lu Xuanji opened some secret libraries and sold some rare items. The number is small but quite precious, and they can be used to save lives at critical moments. After a day of rest, a flying boat appeared in the void, and everyone boarded the flying boat one after another. The flying boat was moving forward, and it arrived at Xiang Mountain in just a moment. When they arrived at Xiang Mountain, they saw many flying boats parked here. There were terrifying auras on them, and it was obvious that there were a large number of cultivators in them. Many immortal cultivation families gathered, a large number of cultivators, responding to the call of Dandayang sect and gathering here. Lu Xuanji stood at the bow of the boat with his mind flashing. About 30 immortal cultivation families gathered here one after another, and there were subsequent flying boats coming one after another. It was not a big problem to delay on other issues. But at the moment of the war with the demon clan, if they delayed and were exterminated, they would deserve it. About 3 days later, all the cultivators arrived one after another. Standing on the flying boat, Xuanji said, "Let the army set off." The flying boat was moving forward, sweeping in a mighty manner, and gathering towards the front line. On the way, they also encountered some other flying boats. In the territory of Chu State, the cultivators were gathering in a mighty manner, like ants gathering at the designated location. Foundation building cultivators are considered middle level in the immortal cultivation world. If they are in some small families, they can be called patriarchs, great elders, etc. But in this huge battle, the foundation building cultivators were just small soldiers, just larger cannon fodder. Soon, the army arrived at the designated location. Calculating the time, Xuanji urged the token, contacted other Yuanying's engine, and then said, "Start the attack now. Attack the territory of the demon race." The demon race has launched a beast tide against our human race area many times, and attacked our human race territory. Now, we must also launch an attack and attack the demon area. Advance forward 30,000 miles, sweep, and attack as much as you want. Monster King of the demon race, I will resist for you. As for the battle below, go as you please. You must complete the corresponding demon killing target. If you fail to complete it, I will punish you severely. Xuanji stepped up and stood 10,000 meters in the sky. The sword intent soared into the sky, tearing everything apart and destroying all laws. At this moment, a violent sound came from the void, and a giant python appeared. Its body was more than 10 feet long, with black scales draped over its body, and a huge snake tongue stretched out, looking ferocious and terrifying. Above his body, demonic energy surged into the sky, and dark clouds swept in. Boom boom boom. The void was colliding, and the two clashed together. The black demonic energy and the golden sword energy collided with each other, tearing each other apart, destroying each other, and strangling each other. Above the sky 10,000 meters high, waves of destruction formed. Occasionally, there was a wave of destruction sweeping down, and a trace of sword energy blasted down, killing some unlucky people on the spot. This is the confrontation between Yuanying cultivators, which is a bit terrifying. Lu Xuanji looked at this scene, his mind was slightly stunned. The original intention of wanting to fight across levels completely dissipated. Forget it. It's better not to think about the cross-level battle between Jiandan and defeating Yuanying. It's better to be honest and cultivate to the Yuanying realm before defeating Yuanying. Charge. Lu Xuanji shouted and began to command the warship to attack deep into the mountains. They began to move away from the battlefield of the nascent soul cultivators. If they died on the battlefield, they would be considered heroes. However, if they were bombarded by the residual energy of the nascent soul and died heroically, it would be a bit aggrieved. Swish. The flying boat was moving forward. After moving forward for 3,000 miles, it arrived at a monster mountain range and stopped. Lu Xuanji gave orders, and some cultivators went down and began to attack the mountain range. In less than 10 minutes, the mountain range was breached, and the purple mansion monster beast inside was besieged and died. Then, they boarded the flying boat again, and began to move forward quickly, attacking another mountain range. One mountain range after another, and they also divided their troops in many ways, to attack the monster beast's territory. The battlefield range was constantly expanding, and the battlefield radius expanded to 1,000 miles. Within this 1,000-mile range, the Lu family cultivators were killing and clearing the monster clan quickly. Lu Xuanji did not take action, but waiting for the arrival of the monster clan master. After a while, the void made a sound, and a huge golden eagle appeared. It had a strong breath and the breath of wind, and it seemed to soar into the sky. Swish. Lu Xuanji took a step forward and blasted out. This punch seemed to gather hundreds of punches together. The golden eagle flapped its wings, and the wings cut like a blade. Crack. The two collided with each other. The wings of the golden eagle broke and fell to the ground. The next moment, a figure flashed, stuck to the body of the golden eagle, and punched. Bang bang. The body of the golden eagle exploded, and a golden elixir fell on the palm. So, I'm so powerful, and ordinary golden elixir monsters can be killed with 2 punches. Xuanji sighed slightly, re-examined his own strength, and began to position himself. So, he was so powerful. After entering the golden elixir, this was the second golden elixir he killed. It was also the first golden elixir cultivator to be killed head-on. As for the golden elixir of the Hehuan demon sect, it could only be considered a sneak attack. Whether in the demon race, or in the human race, the Giant cultivators are all giant kings with noble status. Behind the Giant cultivators, there are Yuan Zhenjin as their backers. He can't kill at all, and dare not kill. Only now, when the two sides are caught in a war, in chaos and disorder, and the demon Yuan is restrained, can he start a killing spree. Kill. Xuanji thought of this, and urged the flying boat, to take everyone on the flying boat. The flying boat was getting smaller, and turned into a miniature shape. Swish. The figure flashed, and went to the hinterland of the demon race. Since we are here, let's do a big job. Here, it doesn't make much sense to attack in pieces, and kill the lower level monsters. Go to the hinterland of the demon race, start a killing spree, kill as many demon giant cultivators as possible, and kill 1 demon giant, which is better than killing 20 purple mansion monsters. Similarly, in the hinterland of the demon race, there are more treasures, resources, etc., and the quantity is more abundant, and the harvest is greater. Chapter 332, Beidou Map Reappearance. As his figure flashed, Xuanji suddenly stopped, and thought of something. 9 transformations of fish and dragon, transformation of golden eagle. Xuanji took out the blood essence of the golden eagle, activated the secret technique, and instantly evolved an incarnation. After the incarnation merged with this drop of blood essence, it immediately changed, and turned into a golden eagle. The golden feathers were flying, shining brightly, and it spread its wings and flew high, turning into a golden light, heading towards the heartland of the demon clan. Xuanji turned into a stream of light, and entered the belly of the golden eagle and hid. As for the many cultivators of the Lu family, they were all placed in the cave sky bead and temporarily imprisoned. In this battle, he planned to win by surprise and directly attack the heartland of the demon clan. Kill them all. The golden eagle activated the golden light of the earth, and flew quickly, at an extremely fast speed, heading towards the Xianlang mountain range. According to Jinzi's intelligence, the true lord of the human race will attack there, and wipe out this line of demon clan. Of course, it is not certain. On the battlefield, it is important to be flexible, and not stick to one place. Before the decisive battle, the Danliang faction formulated 5 sets of combat plans. As for which combat plan to adopt, the Yuan Zhenjin did not know, and they would adapt to the situation on the battlefield. Where is the weak point of the demon race? Attack there. Where the attack is more profitable, attack there. There is no specific combat plan, and it feels a bit random. It only determines the approximate range of attack, as well as the direction of mutual support, etc. Even attacking the Xianlang mountains is just one of the plans. If the defense here is strict or the attack is difficult, the human race Zhenjin will abandon this place and attack other directions. There are too many uncertainties and multilateralisms in it. War is becoming more and more vague and opaque. The golden eagle was flying, and Xuanji was also thinking. About a moment later, the Xianlang mountains were in sight. When approaching here, I found that it was very quiet here, and there was no sign of a major war. But near Xianlang mountain, arrays were running, tides of destruction were fluctuating, killing power was brewing, and destruction was condensing. Xianlang mountain had entered the war preparation stage. Many arrays were directly activated. It seemed that they were ready to fight at any time. But the area was very quiet, no human strongman appeared, and it was calm. Could it be that the human true lord changed his target and attacked the demons in other regions? Xuanji observed this place and was slightly disappointed. Stop. At this moment, a voice came from afar. This king, I came to deliver a message for the Xianlang lineage. Someone from the human race is going to attack here. You should be careful. Lu Xuanji delivered the message, since you know, this king will leave too. As he said that, he turned into golden light and left. Dao, please stay. At this moment, a voice came. Lu Xuanji stopped his wings and asked with caution, Dao, what do you mean? Dao, since you have come to Xianxian, please come in and rest for a while. At this moment, the voice of a demon cultivator came. No need, I'm not familiar with you, so I'd better say goodbye. Lu Xuanji said, with a vigilant look, as if he didn't believe you. The demon race is called the demon race in name, but in essence it is one of the myriad races. There are constant conflicts and fights between the races. It is the high-level demon king who mediates, temporarily putting aside the disputes and joining forces to fight against the human race. But even so, there are constant internal fights and fights. As he said, Lu Xuanji disappeared. The voice was also silent, without trying to keep him. In such a chaotic situation, the only people you can trust are your own people. The Xianlang tribe will not allow the outside demons to enter, which will aggravate the internal instability. Similarly, the Golden Eagle will not enter the formation controlled by the Xianlang tribe. If it comes to catch the turtle in the jar, it will be finished. Swish. After a few flashes, it was thousands of miles away, and the Golden Eagle disappeared and turned into Lu Xuanji's figure. Where will the human race's true lord attack? Lu Xuanji thought. For the first time, he felt the ambiguity of war. In the 100,000 mountains, various formations were arranged, and there were some GD influences, which caused the cultivator's perception and connection to decline. Even he didn't know what those human true monarchs were thinking. Boom boom boom. At this moment, in the northeast, there was a violent noise in the territory of the Golden Eagle clan, and the violent shockwave swept everything and destroyed everything. The huge shockwave continued to spread outward. A war was taking place there. Boom boom boom. At this moment, in the northwest area, there was also a violent noise in the territory of the Kunpan clan, and the explosion wave hit everything and destroyed everything. Then, in the territory of the Golden Crow clan, there was a violent noise, and it seemed that a war had broken out. Even in other areas, sporadic battles occurred, and waves of destruction came, as if both sides were fighting bloody, and it seemed that the battlefield affected countless areas. 3 large battlefields, countless small battlefields. At this moment, Lu Xuanji didn't know where the decisive battle was, and where the Danliang faction would attack. The difficulty faced was no longer the lack of intelligence, but too much intelligence, and he didn't know how to judge. When he activated the token and was about to ask Jinzi, he felt that the signal was cut off, and he could not contact Jinzi. In the 100,000 mountains, there was a terrifying force of UN magnetic field surging, interfering with and cutting off the communication. Taking a deep breath, Lu Xuanji suppressed the impetuousness in his heart and suddenly thought of his mobile phone. He turned on his mobile phone and opened Baidu Map. Suddenly, a map of the situation of the 100,000 mountains appeared. Black dots appeared clearly in it. That was the battle between the Yuanying's engine. There were also small golden dots, small blue dots, small red dots, etc., which kept colliding with each other, densely packed. There were small golden dots disappearing constantly, and small blue dots disappearing constantly. Only the small black dots were still in a stalemate, and it was difficult to tell the winner. With the help of 100 maps, he was high above and finally overlooked the overall situation. It was not disturbed by the force of UN magnetic field at all, and it was not disturbed by the formations in various places. It easily penetrated everything, saw through everything, and clearly observed everything in the Death Mountain, like a giant high above, looking down on everything. This gap is like a human in 3-dimensional space looking down at a paper man in 2-dimensional space. It turns out that the demon sects of Yu Kingdom are joining this battle. It turns out that they are sending troops from multiple directions. Looking at the Baidu map, Lu Xuanji quickly came to the corresponding conclusion after a simple analysis. On the edge of the Shuan Mountains, the strong men of Chu Kingdom are steadily advancing and attacking the territory of the Demon Clan. Many areas have fallen, but there are still 3 or 5 past cities holding on. In the territory of the Golden Crow Clan, the territory of the Dapan Clan, and the territory of the Golden Eagle Clan, there are strong men of the human race attacking, and the battle scene is quite fierce. but these 3 places are just a cover. The real attack is in the Blood Demon Clan. Chapter 333, Dang Xianzu breaks the formation. At this time, a large number of powerful human beings were forming teams and gathering towards the Blood Demon Mountain range to attack there. The battlefield of the 100,000 mountains seemed disordered and chaotic, but under someone's arrangement, they were closely cooperating with each other, forming a huge network that wrapped around the 100,000 mountains, and then formed a knife after a knife to divide, intercept, and surround the various demon tribes in the 100,000 mountains. It seemed that behind the scenes, there was a top-level True Lord, or several top-level True Lords, who united the 3 major sects of the Chu state and the 4 major demon sects of the U state to attack the 100,000 mountains. The Foundation Building Cultivators, Purple Mansion Cultivators, Golden Elixir Cultivators, and even most of the Yuanying True Lords, etc., all turned into chess pieces on the chessboard and began to fight with the demon tribe of the 100,000 mountains. Many chess pieces were directly abandoned and became bait to attract the demon tribe and would be eaten directly. Looking at the Beidou map, Xuanji quickly understood the overall situation of the war. After thinking about it, a hint of determination soon flashed in his eyes. The target was locked on the Xianlang Mountains. In the Xianlang tribe, there were 2 Yuanying masters, and they all disappeared at this moment. There were no Yuanying monks in the Xianlang Mountains, which was a good thing. As for the bad thing, there were still 8 Jiandan monks in the Xianlang Mountains. They were in charge of various formations, controlling a huge group of formations, which could attack or defend. It was terrifying and powerful. Xuanji urged his eyes to look, and felt that the Xianlang Mountains were full of murderous aura, and there was a trace of destruction brewing. Not to mention the Jiandan monks, even the Yuanying monks could fall into it and die. This is the power of this formation. As for the disadvantage, the formation relies on the earth veins and cannot be moved. As long as the monks don't foolishly break into the formation can hardly hurt the monks. I'll choose you. If there were a Yuanying in the Xianlang Mountains, I would have evacuated immediately. But now that the 2 Yuanyings of the Xianlang clan have evacuated, I can just launch an attack here and destroy the Xianlang clan. Xuanji pondered and calculated the probability of winning. After calculation, the probability was 3. Not bad. Destroy the Xianlang clan now. Xuanji thought of this, opened the Dangshan Pearl, and the flying boat flew out immediately. More than 1,200 monks of the Lu family came out one after another. Greetings, clan leader. Everyone said in unison. Good. Xuanji said. Now, we have arrived near the Xianlang Mountains, and we are going to destroy the Xianlang lineage. Now, I will arrange the tasks and start breaking the formation. He began to give orders, and immediately the monks of the Lu family began to act. Some monks of the Lu family had doubts and confusion in their hearts, but they still forced themselves to hold back. Now is not the time to ask these questions. Everything follows the clan leader, and there is no mistake. Hula. The army is moving out and approaching the Xianlang Mountains. Suddenly, the Heavenly Wolf Demon Clan heard the news. Elder, there are powerful human beings coming to attack, but there are not many, only more than 1,000 people. Why don't we kill them and destroy them directly? A Purple Mansion Demon General said. This elder had an old face, green eyes, and a wisp of beard on his chin. He activated the formation and saw more than 1,000 human cultivators rushing here, more than 1,000 foundation building cultivators, more than 50 purple mansion cultivators, and 2 golden core cultivators. Not only is the force not big, but it is very weak. The Heavenly Wolf clan only needs to send out some demon cultivators to destroy this group of human cultivators. But the elder stroked his beard and frowned. Not right, not right. The subsequent human cultivators will come. This is just a small force. We quickly evacuate. Abandon most of the outer areas and retreat to the core area. The elder ordered. Yes. Everyone was a little puzzled, but they still retreated one after another. Retreat to the core area. As the Xianlang tribe retreated, a large number of peripheral areas were immediately abandoned, and the defense range was shrinking. In the Xianlang Mountains, an area of about 5,000 miles is the territory of the Xianlang tribe, where spiritual medicines and spiritual rice are planted, and some formations are set up. but as they retreated, a large number of peripheral areas were abandoned, and finally they were trapped in the core area, which was less than 100 square kilometers. The defense range is shrinking, the defense is strengthening, and the defense time is also lasting. The 5th grade formation, the Heavenly Demon Destroying God formation, the top formation of the Xianlang tribe, can be defended with the help of underground spiritual veins. Ordinary Yuanian cultivators cannot break it, even if they attack continuously for 10 years. If there are 10 Yuanian cultivators who bombard continuously, it may be broken in one day. If a powerful god transforming cultivator takes action, it may be broken with one blow. Xuanji led many cultivators to the foot of the mountain, observing this mountain protection formation, thinking about how to break it. The mountain protection formation was built on the basis of the spiritual veins, and backed by the mountains and rivers. It can be said to be the most defensive formation, without a doubt. There are 2 ways to break such a formation. One is to attack continuously and consume the energy of the spiritual veins. When the formation is running for a long time and the spiritual veins are running out of energy and the spiritual veins are not able to support it, the formation will break. The other is to increase the explosive power. As long as the explosive power is strong enough, the mountain protection formation can be torn apart in an instant. Husband, is there a way to break the formation? Yuanyi looked at the formation in front of her and frowned slightly. It's a bit difficult, but I have the treasure of Xiao's engine. Xuanji smiled. Anyway, he pushed everything to Xiao's engine. Thinking of this, he took out a round bead, which was the Dongshan bead. Dongshan bead, a 7th grade spiritual treasure, was forged by Liangsu Danning with a lot of time and materials. In terms of function, it not only has the function of storage, but also the function of breaking the formation. The Dongshan bead fell down, and the huge force suppressed everything, and even disturbed the earth veins, specifically attacking the mountain protection formation. Suddenly, the Dongshan pearl flew high up, and when it flew to a height of 1,000 meters, it kept changing, and turned into a 10-meter sized globe and fell directly, smashing into the Heavenly Demon Destroying God array. Rumble. With a violent noise, the sphere fell from the sky, tearing everything apart and destroying everything. Not good. The Xianlang tribe inside the golden elixir urged the formation to attack, but it was useless. The Dongshan pearl suppressed it down, and its huge weight suppressed everything and destroyed everything. The power of the earth veins was even more disturbed, and there was a trace of chaos and disharmony when the formation was running. It only persisted for a moment, and countless small formations inside were broken, and countless earth veins were shattered. The formation even cracked a hole, and at this moment, a figure flashed and entered the formation along the hole. It was Xuanji. Swish. When Xuanji entered the formation, he waved his hand and threw out a golden elixir. The golden elixir exploded with a destructive force comparable to a blow from a nascent soul cultivator. Countless members of the Heavenly Wolf clan were immediately affected and died. Chapter 334. Failure to break the formation. This golden elixir was the golden elixir of Chunqiu Zenran of Hehuan Demon Vein. The golden elixir can be used to figure out the magical power, but its greater use lies in explosion. If a golden elixir explodes directly, the power is so great that it can kill the peak golden elixir and even seriously injure the Yuanying. Self-destruction of the golden elixir is the strongest attack method of the golden elixir cultivator, nothing else. At this moment, Xuanji threw the golden elixir directly into the area where the monsters were densely populated, and it exploded in public. Boom boom boom. The violent fluctuations swept everything. The art of explosion annihilated everything, and the range affected an area of 30 miles. Suddenly, a large number of monster cultivators present were killed and injured. Human slaves are looking for death. At this time, a Xianlang clan golden elixir was angry and urged the array plate. In the void, blood-colored lightning was condensing. Sizzle. Sizzle. As the blood-colored lightning condensed, blood-colored lightning balls were like bombs, turning into dozens of lightning balls and bombarding down. Each lightning ball was as powerful as a golden elixir. Dozens of lightning balls swept down, and even a Yuanian cultivator would be seriously injured. Swish. Xuanji activated the secret technique and was about to escape. However, the next moment, he felt the power of the void confinement coming, confining the void, and the air was as heavy as mercury. The void became heavy, as if a mountain was pressing on the body. The void confinement formation can confine the surrounding void, and the void is as heavy as mercury. The Xuanji formation, when activated, is like a mountain pressing on the body, oppressing the flesh. Under these two formations, the movement is quite slow. Watching helplessly, a blood-colored lightning ball hit the body. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, this body was smashed into slag, and turned into airflow, and scattered in the void. Finally killed him. Something is wrong, said the elder of the Xianlang tribe, but he didn't have time to be happy, just felt something was wrong. Something is wrong, that's still the clone. At this moment, they felt that the core was shaking violently, like an earthquake. In some areas, there were crisp sounds. Some formation nodes were destroyed, some formation bases were destroyed, and some formation flags were broken. Many demons did not understand the meaning. But on the top of the mountain, the elder of the Xianlang tribe shouted angrily, "How dare you!" Just now, 8 human cultivators appeared in the core area. They were very fast, and reached some formation nodes. They began to destroy them as much as they could, causing the formation to be damaged, and the formation base to be unstable. Blood Soul Divine Thunder, bombard and kill. The elder of the Xianlang tribe urged the formation plate in anger, bombarding and killing continuously. The blood-colored thunderball swept and exploded. The 8 human cultivators were bombarded and killed on the spot, and turned into airflow. Outside the core area, Xuanji spit out a mouthful of blood with a puff. "My 9 clones have all been destroyed. What a trick." Xuanji coughed, and a trace of shock flashed in his eyes. He urged the cave sky bead to break a corner of the formation. Then, with an idea in mind, he sent 9 clones into the formation to test the power of the formation. As a result, in less than 3 breaths, the 9 clones were killed. After reaching the Jiandan realm, he activated the 9 changes of fish and dragon, which could evolve 9 clones, each with the combat power of the 9th level of the original body. As for the disadvantage, it consumes a lot of mana to maintain the 9 clones. When the 9 clones are activated at the same time, the battle can only last for 10 breaths at most. When the 9 clones were killed, he was also slightly affected and spit out blood. His heart was even more shocked, and a little afraid. If it was not the clone who went in just now, but the original body, he might have been killed now. The 3 formations of the Void Imprisonment formation, the Xuanji formation, and the Blood Soul God Thunder formation were superimposed on each other, and bombarded each other continuously. Not to mention him, even if a Yuanying cultivator fell into it, he would be directly destroyed. The death of the 9 clones also made him slightly proud and a little more cautious. In the core area, many formations are stacked together. 12 4th grade formations, 4 5th grade formations, and even 1 6th grade formation. Unfortunately, there are only Jiandan cultivators stationed here. They can activate the 5th grade formation, but they are unable to activate the 6th grade formation. How to break the formation? Xuanji took out the Dangshan Pearl, and was about to continue smashing it. But at this moment, blood and soul thunders blasted down from the void, not only attacking him, but also attacking the Lu family's cultivators. Boom boom boom. Xuanji activated the pure Yang True Fire and blasted away. Suddenly, blood thunders exploded and dissipated. Other Lu family cultivators also activated their magic weapons to resist. Some were seriously injured and vomited blood, and some vomited blood on the spot. Retreat quickly. Xuanji gave an order, and the Lu family cultivators began to retreat. They retreated 200 miles one after another. At this moment, the distance from the core area of the Xianlang clan is about 300 miles. At such a distance, the attack power of the Blood Thunder is decreasing, and the consumption of the Spirit Vein is also increasing. The Blood Thunder stopped attacking. Xuanji breathed a sigh of relief, and counted the monks under his command. More than 50 monks were killed in the battle, and as for the seriously injured monks, there were more than 100 people. His heart was slightly painful, but there was no extra expression on his face. Kindness cannot command the army, and righteousness cannot make money. There are no immortals in war. Husband, ask for help from Xiao's engine. Yuanyi said. Okay, but she may not be able to take care of me. Xuanji said. Summoned a purple mansion monk, handed over a flying sword, and recorded some information in the flying sword. Only special secret techniques can crack the information inside. If it is cracked by overbearing means, the flying sword may be damaged to prevent the leakage of information. The Lu family purple mansion monk took the flying sword and disappeared. At this time, the communication token has expired, and the message can only be transmitted manually. In less than half an hour, a flying boat in the void advanced and landed here. More and more flying boats landed here one after another. More and more monks gathered here. In just a moment, there were more than 10,000 monks, and more than 500 purple palace monks. There was a huge flying boat in the center, which was forged with Genjin, and looked quite sturdy. At this moment, a woman with a slender figure, holding a sharp sword in her hand, and a murderous aura came down from the flying boat. It was Xuanji. How did you kill here? If you are ambushed by the enemy, it will be dangerous. Xuanji said, with some reproach in her words. True lord, come this way. Xuanji said, I have urgent military information, so please dismiss the people for the time being. Okay. Xuanji nodded, stretched out his hand, and immediately the two of them entered the warship. He activated the secret technique to isolate the inside and the outside. Xuanji said, what information? Chapter 335 Reinforcement arrive. This is the distribution of the demon clan's army and the battlefield situation. Xuanji said, activating the secret technique, and the battlefield situation and the battle pattern of the two sides were evolved in the void. The distribution of the demon clan's troops, the distribution of the human clan's troops, the attack directions of both sides, the movement direction of the army, etc., were all clearly demonstrated. How did he know this? Xuanji was surprised and puzzled, but she quickly suppressed her doubts and looked at the distribution of the troops of both sides and the battle pattern of the two sides. There was not much doubt about the authenticity. She believed in Xuanji very much, and this trust was better than anyone else. So that's it. B's engine, Gixu's engine, Liho's engine, etc. Their target of attack is a Blood Demon mountain range. As for attacking the Jinwu lineage, attacking the Kunpeng lineage, attacking the Golden Eagle lineage, etc., it is just to cover up their true intentions. Xuanji said, and sighed. It turns out that they are eyeing the 6th grade spiritual fruit, the Blood God fruit. Blood God fruit, what is that? Xuanji asked. The Blood Demon clan is a large clan of the Demon clan. Although it is not as influential as the Golden Crow clan, the White Tiger clan, and the Kunpeng clan, it is also a large clan of the Demon clan. There is a 6th grade spiritual fruit there, called the Blood God fruit. After taking it, you can increase your own blood and vitality. It is very beneficial for Yuanying cultivators, and even more beneficial for those in the 9th level of Yuanying. There is even a chance that the 3rd level cultivators will enter the half-step transformation of the gods. This battle turned out to be for the Blood God fruit. Xuanji looked at this scene and felt a sense of sudden enlightenment. Many problems were not clear because there was not enough intelligence and lack of key information, but now that they are connected together, some problems have corresponding answers. That is to say, the war between the human race and the demon race, which affected a large area, was all for the Blood God fruit. Xuanji frowned slightly and said, couldn't they spend money to buy the fruit? Why did they have to do this? Why did they have to fight? The Blood God fruit is also extremely rare in the demon race, so how could they sell it to the human race? Let me ask you, will the human race sell some of its own strategic resources to the demon race? Xuanji asked back. On the one hand, it is for the Blood God fruit, and on the other hand, it is to weaken the demon race. Recently, the demon race has become quite powerful, and the human race must take the opportunity to raid and kill its elite. What is your mission in this war? Xuanji asked. My mission is mainly to contain part of the demon race's forces and to carry out mobile attacks on the demon race's hinterland. During the battle, I have killed a Yuanying python, and I can now explain the mission. Xuanji said, as for the mission of attacking the Blood Demon mountain range, it is not my turn at all. There was bitterness in his words. The one who attacked the Blood Demon mountain range was naturally the direct cultivator of the Dandayang school. As for foreign cultivators like Xuanji, who joined the team halfway, they will not participate in the Battle of Blood Demon Ridge. Xuanji said, just now, I tried to attack, but my 9 clones were destroyed. The Blood Thunder bombarded, and the Lu family cultivators suffered a lot of damage. I originally thought that there was no nascent soul great demon in the Xianlang Mountains, so it would not be difficult to break through. I didn't expect the formation to be so fierce. I underestimated the power of the formation group here. You are a formation master, you should have a way to break the formation. Xuanji is not only a nascent soul true lord, but also a 5th grade formation master. He should have the means to break the formation of the Xianlang Mountains. You think too highly of me. Xuanji said, in the core area, there are 36 4th grade formations, 12 5th grade formations, and even 2 6th grade formations. The combination of these formations is extremely powerful. Only 1/3 of the formations are now open, and many formations have not yet been activated, mainly to reduce energy loss. Even if we are lucky enough to break through some formations, other formations will soon replace them. At the same time, there are formation masters who come forward to repair the damaged formations. Such a group of formations is difficult to break through. If I take action, it will take at least 7 days to break through. But in 7 days, the enemy has already come to support. According to the agreement, this attack on the 100,000 mountains will take at most 3 days. Some cultivators will start on the 2nd day and evacuate. We don't have much time. Xuanji frowned, thinking that things were a bit troublesome and the problem was a bit big. No wonder the Yuanian cultivators of the Xianlang clan went to support the war without worrying about being robbed or their nests being copied, but because they had enough information about the formations here. Xuanji is a 5th grade formation master, and it still takes 7 days. If other people come, it will take longer. Xuanji asked, is there a quick way to break the formation? Yes. Xuanji nodded and said, if a god transforming heavenly venerable appears, he only needs to strike with all his strength to break the formation group here. If a 6th grade formation master takes action and sets up a decisive killing formation, he can shake the formation here and break the formation with the formation. If there is a 6th grade magic weapon, if 7 or 8 Yuanians work together to activate it, they can also break the formation group. By the way, there may be 7 or 8 human true monarchs who work together to activate the Dandayangding, and with the help of this 6th grade spiritual treasure, they can directly break the formation of the Blood Demon mountain range. The Chaos Palace is of a higher grade. If you activate the Chaos Palace and activate some of its power, you can also break the formation at this point. Xuanji was silent. The Chaos Palace is of a higher grade, so don't use it if you can, so as not to attract the greed of some people. I have a treasure that can break the Xianlang mountain formation, but I have limited magic power and am simply unable to activate it. Xuanji said, taking out the Dongshan pearl and handing it over. This is a spiritual treasure made of 5-colored soil. Is this a cave bead? Xuanji took the bead and just glanced at it. A trace of envy flashed across his face. 5-colored soil is second only to the 9 heavens Ziran in terms of thickness. Don't look at it as light in your hand. That's because you refined it. In fact, it weighs the most. If you use the cave bead, you can break the core formation of the Xianlang clan, but this is a 7th grade spiritual treasure. If it is used in this battle, it will be enough to attract the greed of Yuaniang Zhenjin and Huashan strongmen. Haha. Xuanji laughed. Zia, when it comes to formations, I'm not as good as you. But when it comes to refining, you're not as good as me. Do you know that the cave bead is on the Dandayang peak, turned into a grain of sand, hidden among many grains of sand? If it weren't for my good luck, I might not be able to discover the mystery in it. Zia, take another look. Xuanji laughed and directly activated the cave bead. The cave bead immediately changed its appearance, turned into a black bead. Xuanji took the bead, observed it carefully, and said, this is a 5th grade breaking formation bead. Breaking formation bead, a special magic weapon, has no special functions. Its only function is to break the formation. Breaking formation bead is extremely difficult to refine and requires extremely high formation skills and refining skills. In addition, it is necessary to absorb the power of the earth veins and melt it in order to interfere with the operation of the formation. Every time the breaking formation bead is activated, when the earth evil power inside is exhausted, it takes a certain amount of time to recharge. Chapter 336 The Arrival of the True Lords. Holding the breaking formation bead, Xuanji carefully examined it, trying to find something strange. However, no matter how you look at it, it is just a breaking formation bead. It does not look like a cave heaven bead. It is said that the top magic weapons are all inwardly lighted, turning into ordinary things, and only those who are destined to have it can get it. Xuanji looked at the breaking formation bead and sighed slightly. Over the years, there have been many Chindan cultivators and Yuanian cultivators who have climbed Danliang Peak, but no one has discovered the cave heaven bead. Is this just luck? With the breaking formation bead, we must break through the Xianlang mountains today. Xuanji smiled. However, it is not enough to rely on me alone. I also need the relationship and connections of other Taoist friends. She waved and took out some flying swords, engraved some information on them, summoned some purple mansion cultivators, and went to inform some Zhenjin. Fighting a war naturally cannot rely on one person alone. Similarly, breaking through the Xianlang mountains cannot rely on her alone, but requires multiple Taoist friends to work together. On the one hand, with many fellow Taoists taking action, they can share the firepower together. On the other hand, after the war, they can share the spoils and pressure together. In the world of cultivating immortals, strength is important, but connections are also very important. Several allies have arrived, and no matter whether they can break through here afterwards, there will be corresponding explanations. After the message was passed, Xuanji was waiting. In less than half an hour, a flying boat landed here, and a female cultivator walked down the flying boat. She was wearing white armor, with a graceful figure, a snowflake between her eyebrows, and a cold breath all over her body, as if to freeze the void, freeze everything, and make the world still. Sister is here. Sister, you've been waiting for a long time. Not for long. Please come in. Please come in. The two greeted each other and entered the battleship, as if to say some intimate words and some secret things. Xuanji recalled the face of the woman and the information recorded on his mobile phone, and quickly confirmed her identity. Fixu Zhenjin, the Yuanying Zhenjin of Xianling sect, is an old Zhenjin. It is said that he is more than 1,000 years old and has reached the 4th level of Yuanying. A moment later, another flying boat landed. The outside of this flying boat was burning with flames. The flames were cold and ice and fire were perfectly fused together. A female cultivator walked out of it. She was wearing red battle armor and her aura was only the 2nd level of Yuanying. She was the Zhenjin of Kaoshan sect, Yaohuo Zhenjin. Yaohuo Zhenjin was a strong man of the Hehuan demon vein. Just like the disciples of the sword sect may not practice swordsmanship, but may practice swordsmanship, the disciples of the fist sect may not practice fists, but may practice palm techniques. The ancestors of the immortal way may also practice the magic way. The ancestors of the demon sect may also practice the immortal way. This female cultivator came from the Hehuan demon vein, but she did not practice the Hehuan magic. Instead, she practiced the cold air and heavenly fire techniques, and merged the two extreme powers together. Xuanji greeted her again, and called her sister. However, this true lord was a bit cold in character, and only said lightly, "Hello, sister." Obviously, true lord Yaohuo was not good at talking, and had a rather cold personality. Looking at this ancestor of the Hehuan demon vein, Xuanji felt a little scared and couldn't help but think of the Chindan cultivator of the Hehuan demon vein, Chun Qiu Zhenren, who had been killed by him. This true lord nodded and entered the warship. When entering the warship, he looked at Xuanji from the corner of his eyes, and his expression was slightly moved. This person is actually a pure Yang Taoist body, which is the superior physique recorded in the Hehuan demon vein. If I use him as a furnace, I will have a chance to peek at the opportunity of transformation in the future. What's more rare is that the yin and yang energies on his body flow perfectly, and it seems that the top dual cultivation method of my yin and yang demon vein is predestined with my yin and yang demon vein. There is still a trace of murderous aura on him, as if he killed a Chindan cultivator of my yin and yang demon vein. Just a slight peek. True Lord Yaohuo peeked into many things, but he quickly restrained his thoughts. There is a long way to go. To catch prey, you must be patient and not impatient, so that the fish can take the bait. If you are too impatient, you will scare the fish away. She has been waiting for more than 1,000 years, and she doesn't care about these few years. After another moment, a flying boat descended from the void, and a strong man walked out. He was 2 meters tall, His skin exuded bronze, and he held a large axe in his hand that was as tall as a person. The axe was huge and 1 meter high. It was the true lord of Chaosian sect, the true lord Manhuang. This is a person with earth-type spiritual roots and a body-refining cultivator. Just the strength of his physique is enough to compete with the true lord of Yuanying. After another moment, 2 more true lords came. Xuanji invited the 10 true lords, but only 5 came, namely true lord Fixu, true lord Yaohuo, true lord Manhuang, true lord Hehuo, true lord Hatu, and so on. These true lords have different cultivation levels. The lowest true lord Hatu is only at the 1st level of Yuanying, and the strongest true lord Fixu is already at the 5th level of Yuanying. At the nascent soul stage, the strength of a cultivator depends not only on the difference in mana and the difference in small realms, but also on the geographical advantages, magic weapons, magical powers, secret techniques, state of mind, will, etc., which have a great impact on the battle. Some nascent soul cultivators are several small realms lower, and they have a lot of chances of killing the enemy. Similarly, some veteran strongmen are killed because of carelessness. At the nascent soul stage, it is not very meaningful to just decide the winner. Only at the moment of life and death can the strength of each person be revealed. Who lives and who dies, the realm does not count, just fight it out. Inside the warship, 6 true masters gathered together. They came from different sects. Some were righteous and some were evil, but they gathered together to fight against the demon clan and to obtain corresponding benefits. They gathered together to discuss how to attack the territory of the Heavenly Wolf clan. Everyone looked at Xuanji, as if she was the center. Xuanji smiled, and did not refuse. He directly took out a black bead and said, "This is a 5th grade array breaking bead. When it hits the large array of Xianlang Mountain, it will cause a brief chaos in the array group there, and paralyze half of the array group. It will take 10 breaths for the array to continue to operate. These 10 breaths are the time we have to break the array. Within 10 breaths, if we can break the array, we can destroy the Xianlang clan. If we can't break the array group within 10 breaths, the best result is heavy losses and evacuation, but the worst result is that the 6 of us will be trapped in it and die on the spot. In order to prevent deliberate betrayal and deliberate framing, and conflicts over spoils afterwards, I plan to formulate the following agreement. First, everyone works together to prevent those who flee in the face of danger, or betray their fellow Taoists. Second, in the distribution of spoils, Nascent Soul occupies 5 floors, Golden Core occupies 3 floors, and the remaining cultivators occupy 2 floors. Third, when there is a dispute over some treasures, the order will be determined according to the ranking of merit. Fourth, Xuanji spoke, talking about the agreement for this battle. Some true lords spoke, adding some agreements. Everyone nodded. Finally, they swore to the heavenly Dao. If they broke the oath, their inner demons would haunt them, and the heavenly tribulation would increase 3-fold. Then, they signed contracts. If they made an oath on earth, and signed a contract, there would be many cultivators who broke their promises and got rich. In the eyes of many people, oaths are nonsense, and they can be abolished at any time. But in the world of cultivating immortals, it is a world of idealism, and the binding force of contracts is extremely great. There is a mysterious connection between heaven and man. If someone breaks the oath, it will most likely be verified in the future. Chapter 337, Breaking Through the Sirius Mountains. After signing the agreement, many true lords began to leave, arranging their men, and determining the direction of attack. In this battle, there were as many as 120,000 monks participating in the battle. The lowest level of cultivation was also the foundation building stage. There were more than 5,000 purple mansion monks, as many as 100 golden core monks, and 6 Yuanying monks. Some monks went to the outer areas to guard against the arrival of the demon clan reinforcement. If reinforcement arrived, they could also resist for a while with this part of the reinforcement. The majority of the remaining troops will attack the core area. One part is responsible for entering the interior and causing internal destruction. Another part is responsible for destroying the operation of the formation on the periphery and interfering with the operation of the formation. Half an hour later, the army was adjusted. Urge, Xuanji said. Suddenly, the 6 true lords urged their magic power and infused it into the formation breaking beads. Suddenly, the black round beads kept getting bigger and finally turned into a diameter of 10 miles. From a height of 1,000 meters, it fell directly and hit the formation group. In terms of means, it was simple and violent. Not good. The Xianlang clan's Chindan cultivators exclaimed, urging the formations one after another, and spells blasted out, bombarding the formation breaking beads. However, the formation breaking beads were too heavy and too dense, and they blasted down, breaking all the spells, and hitting the core directly. Violent vibrations were heard, and countless formations were destroyed. Countless formation bases suffered heavy damage, and some of the remaining formations were even temporarily disrupted. The formation group that was originally running was like a coin thrown into a machine tool, jamming the running gear. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the 6 great true monarchs joined forces and blasted out. Suddenly, the formation group broke a hole, and the 6 great true monarchs flashed and killed in it. The Chindan cultivators followed closely and killed in it. The two sides opened up a fierce battle. At the same moment, under the leadership of the Purple Mansion monks on the periphery, more than 80,000 foundation building monks began to move, urging the formation flags to form an unparalleled formation, confronting the formation group, breaking the formation with the formation. The inside is blooming, and the outside is attacking. With two-pronged approach, the power of the formation group is constantly weakened, so that it can completely gain the upper hand. Boom boom boom. A tragic battle broke out, and the power of destruction tore everything apart and destroyed everything. Calamity, calamity. The voice of the great elder of the Heavenly Wolf clan was filled with sorrow. He urged the formation plate, and activated the formations one by one. The void imprisonment formation imprisoned the speed of the monks, and slowed them down. The Qianjin formation gave the monks a weight to carry, like a mountain pressing on them. The Blood Thunder formation dropped a Blood Thunder to kill. The Skyfire formation dropped the destructive Skyfire, burning everything. The Infinite Life and Death formation evolved into the light of absolute killing, attacking, and killing everything. The Infinite Golden Shield array evolved into shields, to resist the enemy's attacks. One after another, the arrays were activated one after another. Some were confining, some were defending, some were attacking, some were exploding, some were interfering, and so on. If all of these arrays were activated, 5 or 6 Yuanings could be killed with a wave of the hand. Unfortunately, due to the interference of the array breaking beads, some arrays were damaged or did not operate. Only less than half of the arrays were in operation, bombarding the Yuanings and Jindans of the human race. The Yuanings engine and Jindans Enron present attacked the cultivators around them, resisting the blood thunder, sword energy, flying knives, axes, etc. that fell from the sky. At the same time, they urged their magic power to bombard the ground, to destroy the array base and some nodes of the array. The battle broke out violently, and the intensity was intensifying. Both sides were fighting bloody. Although there were less than 50 human cultivators who had entered here, they all started with Jindan, and were capped by Yuanying. They bombarded and destroyed everywhere. Countless monsters were killed one after another. Buildings, rivers, mountains, plains, etc. on the ground were all affected, causing the terrain to change. Mountains collapsed, and rivers rolled back. In an area of less than 100 square kilometers, the battle became extremely tragic. The power of destruction continued to tear the earth apart. Boom boom boom. At this moment, blood thunder fell from the sky again. Kill. At this moment, Xuanji stepped forward, his long sword flashing. The yin and yang energy on the long sword was born and destroyed. The black and white light was changing, and he slashed at a Chindan demon. This Chindan demon was just an ordinary Chindan demon, and in terms of combat power, it was not very strong or invincible. If it was at an ordinary time, facing the Yuanying's engine, he would be killed in one move. But at this moment, this Chindan demon urged the formation plate in his hand, and suddenly a golden shield appeared to block the front. The Liangai sword slashed on it, and the golden shield shook violently, making a crisp sound, turning into countless fragments, but it also resisted the attack of the Yuanying. At this moment, blood spirit divine thunders from the sky came crashing down, more than 30 in a row, and fist-sized thunderballs descended. Xuanji urged the Liangai sword to slash down continuously, and blood thunders exploded and dissipated. At this moment, a huge pressure was pressed on his body again, as if he was carrying a mountain on his back. Xuanji urged his strength to resist the suppression of his body, and at the same time, he slashed the immortal golden elixir monster with his long sword, but at this moment, there was a golden shield blocking in front. Boom boom boom. The two sides clashed together. A golden elixir monster, urging the array disc, with the help of the power of the array, confronted Xiao's engine, but had a slight upper hand. Not only here, the other 5's engines also took action, attacking the golden elixir monster who presided over the array. The two sides fought together, and they were unable to kill these golden elixir monsters in a moment. But with Yuan Ying's engine's containment, the number of blood thunders in other areas was decreasing. Other giant and cultivators attacked one after another, destroying the nodes of the formation, and dismantling the formation. Boom boom boom. A blood thunder fell, tearing everything apart. Xuanji urged the Yuanxi Yin Yang Heavenly Sword, and the Yuanxi Force and the Yin Yang Force flowed on the long sword. The two sides were entangled together, and the power was superimposed together, turning into a destructive force, and slashed at the blood thunder. Bang bang. One by one, the blood thunder exploded. Xuanji flashed a trace of joy. The power of the blood thunder is decreasing, the power of the formation group is decreasing, and our attack is effective. The other cultivators were also happy. The balance of victory was shifting, and the human race began to gain the upper hand. Boom boom boom. At the moment of 20 breaths, Xuanji slashed out with a sword, and the golden shield broke open, slashing towards the demon race giant. There is no one in my demon race who is afraid of death. Seeing that the power of the formation was decreasing, the giant and demon shouted and exploded. Swish. Xuanji was even faster, and pierced through his golden elixir with one sword. The golden elixir that was about to explode stopped abruptly. This golden elixir monster fell. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 338. The battle is over. Silver Moon Fruit. As the power of the formation decreased, those giant and monsters activated the formation plate, but they were unable to fight against the Yuan cultivators. Despair flashed in their eyes and they exploded their giant. Boom boom boom. One explosion after another, tearing everything apart and destroying everything. The shockwave of the explosion hit Xuanji's body, and he was floating like a leaf. Puff. But when the explosion wave hit his body, it was like a heavy hammer hitting his back. His body was shaking, and he almost fell to the ground. At the critical moment, Xuanji activated the Zushan armor to protect his body and resist most of the aftermath of the explosion. But golden stars flashed in his eyes, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Kill. After taking a 4th grade Nirvana pill, Xuanji activated his long sword and stabbed a purple mansion monster cultivator. Kill kill. Kill without mercy. Without the protection of the formation and the golden core great demon, the remaining purple mansion demon lords and foundation building demon beasts were slaughtered one after another, and the battle was developing in a one-sided situation. The remaining demons fled one after another, but were intercepted by the outer cultivators of the human race. Most of them were strangled, and only a few escaped. After an hour, the battle was declared over. The Yuan True Lords were a little tired, and some were injured. As for the golden core cultivators, almost everyone was injured. If they were not injured, they would be embarrassed to say that they had participated in this battle. There were even 12 golden core cultivators who died directly, but everyone was smiling because they won. As for the cultivators who died in the battle, there will be subsidies and pensions later. There is no immortality in war. Come on, let's go together and count the spoils. Xuanji said, let's set off now, and everyone supervise each other. That's right. Everyone shouted proudly. At Xuanji's call, the treasure house was opened, the library was opened, and the medicine garden was opened, and the items began to be counted. There were various spiritual medicines, elixirs, divine materials, divine jade, divine iron, etc., arranged according to different grades. Yuan Ying's engine took the lead in selecting, and the one he selected was the largest and the best. Then, Jind and Zenran came forward to select. Finally, the clan leaders of each tribe distributed them to their subordinates. Both sides were very happy. After the battle, the monks all returned to the warship and began to rest. We made a fortune, we made a fortune, we made a fortune. Xuanji was happy. In the storage bag, there were various spiritual medicines, elixirs, and some divine materials, etc., worth 10 million medium-grade spiritual stones. When the cannon sounded, there were thousands of taels of gold. A war was indeed very expensive. But after the war, as long as you win, the harvest is also huge. Among the more than 1,000 medium-grade spiritual stones, the monks who died in the battle were given 3 times the pension. As for the injured monks, they were also given a higher pension. Then the monks with military merits were also rewarded. After all the expenses, there were still 5 million middle-grade spirit stones left, which were given to Xuanji and Yuan respectively. As long as they didn't die on the battlefield, they would be full of oil afterwards. It felt a bit full. You can use these magic medicines to open more furnaces and refine some auxiliary pills. You can also use these magic materials, especially the gourd, to forge an insect-raising gourd. But those Yuan Ying's engine will get more. Xuanji smiled and thought of the spirit tree in the center of the Xianlang Mountains. The 5th grade spirit stone, the silver moon tree. There are 3 silver moon fruits on the tree, which are already the peak of the 5th grade, and are quite precious. The silver moon fruit, after reaching the 5th grade, if consumed, can increase the spiritual power of the Yuan Ying's engine, and enhance the life potential. After a long debate, it finally fell into the hands of Yaohuo's engine, Haotu's engine, and Manhuang Mojin. Everyone argued for a long time about moving the 5th grade spirit tree. As a result, the roots took root deep in the earth, and it would take a month to move it. There was no time at all. He could only sigh and give up the transplant. As for chopping up the spirit tree, he didn't even think about it. Those high-level spirit trees produce a lot of spiritual energy every day, which supports the cultivation of the monks. They are beneficial to all living beings in the world. Even the evil demons will cherish the spirit trees when they encounter them, and will not destroy them wantonly. There was a monk who wantonly destroyed the high-level spirit trees, but was rejected by the world, and had very bad luck. Not only did he implicate himself, but also his clan. Whether it was the human race or the demon race, the 2 sides fought and fought continuously, but no matter who won or lost, no matter how tragic the battle was, they all agreed not to destroy the spirit trees. This was almost a well-known unspoken rule. After resting for half a day, the flying boat was moving forward, and everyone disappeared. A large number of flying boats left, evacuated to the border area. This battle wiped out a large demon clan, and won a great victory. Many monks were evacuating. But in a warship, the 6 true monarchs were holding a meeting. Jinzi said, "We have gained a lot from destroying the Xianlang tribe, but there are still 2 Yuan Ying alive in the corresponding Xianlang tribe. We can't sleep at night. If these 2 are alive, it's better to kill these 2. Haotu's engine said, "Of course." Yuo's engine also nodded and said, "It seems that we must go to the battlefield in the Blood Demon Mountains. It's better not to participate. There are more than 20 Yuan Ying's engines participating in the battle there. We don't need to take action. We just need to ambush halfway." Manhuang's engine nodded. Everyone was discussing again, formulating strategies to completely kill the Xianlang tribe. After the discussion, the 6 engines left quietly. The flying boat was still moving forward, but everyone didn't know that the big guys had left. About half a day later, they finally arrived at Teeling Pass. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Finally returned home safely. Going to the depths of the Xuan Mountains to destroy the Xianlang lineage is of course a huge benefit, but the danger is also not small. If the battle is deadlocked, and they are besieged by many demons, they may lose a lot. If they encounter the sniper of the demon Yuan Ying on the way, they may also suffer a lot. Fortunately, a great battle took place in the depths of the Xuan Mountains. There were 3 large battlefields and 7 or 8 small battlefields. They were dizzy and fell into chaos. They were able to successfully destroy the Xianlang tribe and return smoothly. This is Teeling Pass. It is really huge. Looking at the huge level in front of him, Lu Xuanji's eyes flashed with dizziness. The city in front of him was black all over and was forged by black steel. Even if the giant and cultivator hit it with all his strength, it was just a black handprint. The damage left by the Yuanying cultivator on it was also extremely limited. There are dense arrays of arrays here. If there is a Yuanying's engine sitting here, with the help of the arrays here, stimulating the power of the arrays, it can counter the attacks of more than a dozen Yuanying's engines, and keep the city from falling. If there are some giant and monks as assistants, it can hold out for a longer time. Chapter 339, Gambling. This city stands here, to resist the attack of monsters. Every time the monsters launch a beast tide, many giant and monsters, and Yuanying monsters stop here. Only the Foundation Building Monster Generals and Purple Mansion Monster Generals can cross the checkpoints here and go deep into the territory of the human race to carry out a sweep. If a giant and monster or a Yuanying monster dares to go deep alone, it will inevitably be surrounded and beaten to death. After entering the city, a cultivator immediately came forward to ask and entertain. Soon, they temporarily settled down in a courtyard in the west of the city. After the war, the Lu family suffered a lot of losses. There were 5 Purple Mansion cultivators who died, and more than 30 Foundation Building cultivators who perished. These all need to be compensated and given generous treatment, so that they can fight in the front in the next war. Otherwise, if the compensation is deducted, be careful of being stabbed. As for the living cultivators, they were more or less injured. Everyone, let me reiterate here. For the Foundation Building cultivators who died in battle, 2 Foundation Building pills will be given as compensation, and 20 Spirit Stones will be given as subsidy every month, as well as various kinds of pills to supplement. For the Purple Mansion cultivators who died in battle, the family will give 1 Pure Yang pill, 2 Purple Mansion pills, and 200 Spirit Stones will be given as deficiency every month. As for the cultivators, who have made meritorious contributions, if they kill a Foundation Building Demon General, they will be rewarded with 1 Foundation Building pill. If they kill a Purple Mansion Demon, they will be rewarded with 1 Pure Yang pill. Of course, they can be exchanged for corresponding Spirit Stones or other cultivation resources. As for the corpses of demon beasts, they are their own spoils of war, and can be sold to the family. Here, I will talk about the compensation and rewards for each cultivator. If you feel that it is wrong or unfair, you can speak up. Lu Xuanji took out the account book and began to read out the rewards and compensation. The cultivators of the Lu family listened carefully, with a hint of excitement in their eyes. After reading it, cultivators began to speak one after another, expressing their doubts. Lu Xuanji asked and coordinated, and soon the rewards were determined. After the rewards were determined, everyone was happy. These rewards cannot be distributed now. They need to be distributed after returning to the family. In order to prevent some people from acting as second-hand dealers, basically, the rewards will be distributed according to the time period and will be completely distributed in the next few years or even decades. There are delays and even arrears in the middle, but everyone is still happy. These rewards are enough to bring huge benefits to themselves and their families. As for arrears, it is inevitable. If all the rewards are distributed now, the family's liquidity will be exhausted, and the family will fall into a crisis of capital chain collapse. The next day, Xuanji returned. The evil spirit on his body was dignified. Just a glance, Lu Xuanji felt dizzy. Killed again? No, killed a demon again, Lu Xuanji asked. We 6 true lords joined forces, killed a wolf cub, and another one ran away. Xuanji said, with a look of pity in his words. At the nascent soul realm, who doesn't have countless adventures, have extraordinary talents, who doesn't have excellent luck, and who has unknown trump cards and killer moves. It is easy to defeat a Yuanying, but it is difficult to kill him. After all, running away when you can't win may not necessarily keep the enemy. This time, the 6 engines took action, surrounded and killed one, and one ran away. How is the battle going? Lu Xuanji asked. Although there is Beidou map to understand the situation of the war, it is lacking in details. Xuanji said, the situation is a bit chaotic. Not long ago, we broke through the Blood Demon mountain range and killed all the demons there, including 5 Yuanying demon cultivators, 30 Giant demons, and some purple mansion demons and foundation building demons. As for other places, we also killed countless demons and achieved fruitful results. In the 100,000 mountains, there are constant internal strife and fighting among the various tribes of the demons, and there are many disputes and contradictions. The human race took advantage of the internal fighting of the demons and attacked, causing great losses to the demons. But later, the demons will lead their forces to counterattack and attack Teeling Pass. There will be a big war then. Xuanji nodded and said, when will the war end? It's hard to say. The demons have been slapped in the face this time. If they don't retaliate against one side, how can they give up? Xuanji said, I won't say much about the rest. I just remind you to be careful of the yuanying of the Cheyenne Lang tribe. After another reminder, Xuanji left. 10 days later, a large number of demons gathered at the foot of Teeling Pass. They were murderous and seemed to want to annihilate everything. In the demon clan's camp, there are 10 demon clans, namely the Cheyenne Feng clan, the Qinglan clan, the Beihu clan, the Jiuwei Fox clan, the Jinwu clan, the Cheyenne Mang clan, the Kunpan clan, the Jindio clan, the Kilin clan, the Xuanwu clan, and so on. In the 100,000 mountains, there are tens of thousands of demon clans, and the number of each race is even greater, but these 10 races are the well-deserved royal clans of the demon clan, because these 10 demon clans have all given birth to powerful gods. In the clan, there are weapons of transformation. In the clan, there are supreme formations arranged by powerful gods. In the clan, there are 6 great spiritual veins. Until now, there are still powerful people of the 9th level of the nascent soul in the clan. There are more than a dozen nascent souls in the clan, which can be said to be a powerful force, with many powerful people and strong combat power in the same realm. At this moment, the 10 major demon clan royal families led the strong men to threaten Teeling Pass. The demonic energy rushed to the sky, and the murderous aura seemed to drown everything. In the face of the vast murderous aura, it seemed that the great city of the human race would fall in an instant. Boom boom boom. Then the demon army began to organize, and one after another magical secrets, one after another peerless killing moves, bombarded the city wall, tearing everything apart, destroying everything. Suddenly, the formations on Teeling Pass were activated, and the two sides clashed together, constantly tearing and breaking. The two sides clashed together, and they were really angry. Xuanji was slightly nervous. Xuanji smiled and said, don't worry. The biting dog doesn't bark. The demons seem to be coming aggressively, but in fact it's just a matter of face. After a month of continuous attack, they will vent enough and retreat. The internal fighting of the demons is far beyond your imagination. Boom boom boom. On the battlefield, the bombardment continued, but the battle was still fierce, but like fireworks. Behind the seemingly exciting scene, it seemed extremely dull. About a month later, the demons really stopped attacking. The chief of the Golden Crow tribe stepped forward and said, I'm Emperor Shan, inviting the human race to a fight. Do the human race dare to fight? Haha, our human race is not afraid of challenges, so how can we not dare to fight? Daoist friend, draw a line. Then let's fight. Both sides will send their geniuses into the duel arena for a life and death battle. It will be divided into foundation building duel, purple mansion duel, and golden elixir duel. Emperor Shan said, as for the stakes, here are some. Chapter 340, Betting, Family Destiny. At this point, the Golden Crow Demon King waved his hand and dropped 3 platforms, on which he placed bets. On the first platform, there were some spiritual medicines, spiritual fruits, elixirs, ores, and millions of spiritual stones. On the second platform, there were 10 magic weapons, many 4th grade spiritual materials, and tens of millions of spiritual stones. On the third platform, there was only a gourd. Wow. Looking at the items on the platform, everyone was in an uproar, and even the eyes of the nascent soul cultivator flashed a hint of excitement. These things were not of high grade, but they were extremely rare. Okay, I can't be stingy. In front of Teeling Pass, 3 platforms were also dropped, with corresponding items placed on them. The two sides looked at each other. Using their magic power, they set up a ring in front of the pass. A formation was set up on the periphery of the ring, and only the winner could leave. At the same time, both sides stipulated that they must not attack the fighting players. If they violated it, they would lose a layer of their clan's luck. As they spoke, the two sides disappeared and wanted to select strong men to enter the ring for a decisive battle. Both sides were taking action, gathering young warriors, and preparing for a war. At night, the golden sun descended. Xuanji asked, "Is this the only stake in the duel between the two sides?" "These are just the stakes on the surface. There are deeper stakes." Xuanji smiled and said, "What do you think is the most important thing for a race?" "Of course it's resources and territory," Xuanji said. Xuanji said, "You are right, but not right. Everything has its own luck. People have their own luck, countries have their own luck, and tribes have their own luck. If a cultivator has strong luck, he will encounter many adventures. Various treasures will fall into his hands. He will be valued by nobles, favored by beautiful women, and he will be smooth sailing on the road of cultivation. Even if he encounters some disasters, he will easily overcome them. Similarly, if a country has strong luck, the country will be peaceful and the people will be safe. If the tribe has strong luck, this race will have many strong people and geniuses, and even the difficulty of breaking through the barriers and impacting the great realm will be reduced accordingly." In the three games, the stakes seem to be just the items on the stage, but in fact they are the luck of the two tribes. The battle of foundation building is a bet of 1,000th of the tribe's luck. The battle of purple mansion is a bet of 100th of the tribe's luck. The battle of golden elixir is a bet of 1/10 of the tribe's luck. The stakes are a bit big. Xuanji's head hurts a lot, and the game behind it is a bit powerful. "What is luck?" Xuanji asked. "Luck is the attention and favor of heaven." Xuanji said, "Heaven is ruthless, without any extra emotions, only a vague consciousness. If a race or a person is favored by heaven, they will develop smoothly and have a bright future. On the contrary, if they are despised by heaven and earth, they will encounter various disasters, have a bumpy development, and may even be exterminated." In the long history, there are many powerful races in the Purple Mansion realm, but they all perished. There are many reasons behind their demise, but the biggest reason is that they were despised by heaven and earth. I hope you will participate in the Golden Core battle. "Why did you choose me?" Xuanji asked. "If I lose this battle, it will be fine. If I win, I will inevitably become a thorn in the eyes of the demon race, and my risk factor will increase. I still hope to keep a low profile, at least it will be safe." Xuanji said, "If you just want to condense the 7th revolution golden pill, it's not a big problem to keep a low profile. But if you want to condense the 9th revolution golden pill or the 10th revolution golden pill, you must participate in this battle. This battle is a battle for luck. If you represent the human race, to defeat the demon race, seize the demon race's luck, and transform it into the human race's luck. You will be favored by the human race's luck, and all kinds of good luck will befall you. You will even have a slight chance of impacting the 10th revolution golden pill. Otherwise, why are you qualified to condense the 10th revolution golden pill? Is it because you are outstanding in wisdom and determination, or because I work harder than others? I'm sorry, this world has never lacked geniuses, nor hard-working people, but these people can't even achieve the Purple Mansion, let alone the golden pill. This world has never been about being low-key, not causing trouble, practicing hard, and then being invincible. This does not exist at all. The struggle among cultivators is essentially a struggle for opportunity and luck. Countless geniuses fight together for luck, and luck constantly gathers from a scattered state to a few people. Finally, a generation of sons of destiny is born, carrying the great luck of heaven and earth, going against the sky, and ascending to become immortals. On the road to cultivating immortals, you must fight and rob. If you want to be comfortable, then don't cultivate immortals. Cultivating immortals is never comfortable. Xuanji nodded. It seems that there must be a battle. Not for anything else, just to fight for luck. As for being low-key, there is nothing wrong. But being too low-key, and losing some opportunities for it is a big mistake. There is nothing wrong with being timid and afraid of things, but becoming too fearful, and not daring to seize the opportunity that is close at hand, is definitely a big mistake. This token, you take it. Xuanji said, "You can participate or not, it's up to you." With that, he disappeared. A token appeared in Xuanji's hand, and a teleportation array was engraved on it. As long as the token was activated, he could enter the ring for a life and death battle. Such a ring duel was voluntary. If you feel that you have the strength, you can go up and fight at any time. If you feel that you are not strong enough, you can give up. There is no designated fixed person, and theoretically everyone can go up to the stage. But if you don't have that much weight, it's best not to go up and die. 3 days later, the ring duel began. Swish. At this moment, a golden crow flashed and stepped onto the ring. "My lord, Jinheo, who dares to fight me?" Jinheo said. His body was upright, his golden hair was flying, and he exuded a trace of terrifying aura. In terms of realm, he was only at the peak of foundation building, but the aura he exuded was no worse than that of a purple mansion cultivator. "I will fight you." At this moment, a human cultivator walked onto the high platform. Swish. The two sides fought together, punching and kicking each other. After just 3 moves, Jinheo pulled with both hands, and the human cultivator was torn apart on the spot. The human cultivator was killed. "Who else?" Jinheo asked, full of murderous intent. 10 breaths later, another human cultivator stepped onto the stage. The two sides clashed, and at the 5th move, Jinheo urged the sun's true fire to burn, and the human cultivator was instantly reduced to ash. A moment later, another cultivator, and then another cultivator stepped onto the stage to fight the Jinwu clan's genius. But they were killed again. The battle scene gradually became bloody and brutal. 26 foundation building cultivators stepped onto the stage one after another, and were all killed. The human race gnashed their teeth as they watched this scene. The lower level foundation building cultivators watched this scene with fear in their hearts, and their hands and feet were cold. Chapter 341, A Cutting Soul. At this time, it was morning, and the sunlight was strong. The sunlight fell on the earth, and the earth became warm. When it shone on people's bodies, it was also gentle and comfortable. But the human cultivators present were all cold, as if they were encountering frost in June. Their hearts were cold. The 26 foundation building cultivators who stepped onto the ring were all the prides of the human race. Without the qualifications of a pride, they were not qualified to step onto the ring. Then, they were beaten to death by Jinheo. Under the sunlight, the strength of the Golden Crow clan will increase a lot. A Yuanying Zenjin said. Jinheo is too strong. This is a pure-blooded Golden Crow. Even at night, we are not its opponent. The gap between the human race and the demon race emperor in the early stage is too big. Another Yuanying said. Everyone was silent. Some Yuanying wanted to refute, but in the end they turned into silence. There is nothing shameful about admitting defeat. If you don't even have the courage to admit defeat, how can you face your heart and prove your way to immortality? The demon race, the bloodline advantage in the early stage is too obvious. Let's admit defeat. No, this is 1,000th of the race's luck. Then send your disciples. Many Yuanying masters argued, but the more they argued, the more helpless they became. The demon race relies on blood, and the human race relies on understanding. In the early stage, the human race was not as good as the demon race, but it was only in the later stage that the gap was narrowed. The human race's Xuanji may not win, but will give up his life in vain. Well, the demon race won the battle of foundation building. In the end, many Yuanying masters made a conclusion. The demon race was cheering, and the morale of the human race was declining. Soon the second game, the Purple Mansion battle, began. This time, it was the Kunpen clan strongman who stepped onto the stage. The human race's Purple Mansion strongman also stepped onto the stage. Bang bang. The two sides clashed together, and after 100 moves of fierce fighting, the Kunpen clan used secret techniques to kill the human race's strongman. In a moment, the strongman of the human race stepped onto the ring, urging the secret technique. A flash of knife light passed, and the Kunpen clan's Xuanji perished. Then, the strongman of the demon race stepped onto the ring, and fought with the strongman of the human race. Bang bang. On the ring, the two sides clashed with each other, constantly colliding, tearing each other apart, and fighting continuously. The battle was not over until the strongman of the human race took action, and killed the strongman of the demon race. It seemed that the loss was quite large. The strongman of the human race sat on the ring, and began to adjust his injuries. The battle was a bit bloody. Lu Xuanji frowned slightly. The battle between the two sides in the ring was forbidden to use weapons, talismans, elixirs, etc. The human race and the demon race each sent 30 cultivators to the ring to duel. In such a duel, it was not the case that I won this time and I could retreat. Instead, I won, and I had to defend the ring and kill all the 30 cultivators on the opposite side, persist to the end, or be killed halfway. There is no so-called scoring system. The world of cultivation is extremely cruel. The so-called Xuanji is the least valuable. It is better to give birth to a Xuanji king than a Xuanji. However, after killing the enemy, you can rest for a quarter of an hour to recover your vitality. Boom boom boom. The battle continues. The fight continues. This human cultivator, after killing 5 demons in a row, was targeted by a demon cultivator in the 6th round, and was killed on the spot. The battle became more and more tragic. In the end, the 30 tokens of the human side were consumed, and the 30 purple mansion masters were all destroyed. The demon side also suffered heavy casualties. In the end, only 5 purple mansion tokens were intact. A purple mansion demon stood there with a strong momentum. This round, the demons still won. The atmosphere of the crowd was a little depressed. Soon the 3rd round began, and both sides looked at the ring, thinking. At this moment, a demon clan giant stepped onto the stage and shouted, "Who dares to fight me?" Swish. At this moment, Lu Xuanji stepped onto the stage and stretched out his hand. A giant fell into his hand. Bang. Another punch was thrown, and the demon clan giant was destroyed on the spot. "Who dares to fight me?" Lu Xuanji said calmly, watching the demon clan people flashing a faint excitement in their hearts. He went up a little too early. Jinzi frowned. In the giant battle, most of the first few giant cultivators who stepped onto the stage were of average strength, mainly to test the enemy, and the few behind were the top powerhouses. But when they got to the stage, they could only go up and not down, and everything depended on themselves. At this moment, everyone was looking at the stage. Especially those Yuanying cultivators. They looked at him, as if they wanted to see through his details. But they soon frowned, because there was a faint grey mist around Lu Xuanji's body, blocking his own information, and the information obtained by calculation was chaotic and disordered. Even his several turns in the golden core were vague. The heavenly secrets were in chaos, and everything became disordered. Interesting. Many demon clan Yuanying laughed, as if they saw a fun toy. The divine thoughts transmitted the message, and the next moment another golden core demon king stepped onto the stage. This was a golden crow, whose blood and ki were as hot as flames, and his whole body was emitting golden light. With a trace of terrifying aura, he said, "This king." However, before he could finish his words, he was chopped down with a knife. This knife was like golden lightning, as if it was born from nothingness, as if it was an instant, as if it was eternal. A bloodline appeared between the eyebrows of the golden crow. Plop. The golden crow fell to the ground, leaving only a corpse. Swish. Lu Xuanji waved his sleeves and immediately put away the body of the golden crow. He said lightly, "Who else dares to fight me?" His tone was cold and domineering. "Since you can't be low-key, just be high profile as much as you want." Everyone was speechless. Some Yuanying cultivators wanted to comment on something, but they fell silent. They were not qualified to comment on such a genius. "I will fight you." Another giant and monster stepped onto the stage. This one was a kunpeng. But what was coming was a dazzling knife. The giant and monster urged his magic power to resist, but his body could not move at all, as if his soul was taken away by the knife. Puff. Another line of blood flew by, and another giant and monster was destroyed. Next, Lu Xuanji said calmly, as if he had picked up $5 on the roadside. One after another, giant climbed onto the stage, but they were powerless in the face of the knife. They could only watch the long knife cut across their eyebrows, and their lives were cut off. Suddenly, the monsters were in an uproar. The human race was also in an uproar. What a fast sword. Hundreds of swords are melted into one. This one sword has the power of hundreds of swords. A Yuanying demon king said, "The human race has indeed produced a genius with superb skills. But his true colors have been seen, so his skills will only end here. Let the Xuanming demon king go up. The Xuanming demon king has the strongest defense and can break this sword." Chapter 342, The Glory of Bloodline. Standing on the stage, Xuanji waited quietly. Swish. At this moment, a ray of light flashed, and a big demon flew onto the stage. It had a burly body, a strong aura, and a mysterious aura all over its body. I'm the Xuanming Demon King, and I will kill you today. The big demon spoke with contempt, but his arms were tense, ready to guard against Xuanji's attack at any time. A big demon from the Xuanwu lineage. Xuanji smiled, and this time he did not draw his sword. He felt a pressure from the big demon, but it was just pressure. Whoosh. Activating the spell, white flames swept over, turning into a 10-foot long fire dragon that swept over. The pure yang true fire burned and annihilated everything, destroying everything. The Xuanming Demon King was slightly surprised, and immediately activated his magic power. Suddenly, the black Xuanming true water swept over, carrying the aura that froze everything, washing over and annihilating one side. Water and fire collided with each other. Pure yang true fire represents the ultimate fire, which burns everything. Even at the immortal level, the power of pure yang true fire does not decrease at all. There was once an immortal who urged pure yang true fire to burn the endless void and burn the demons outside the domain. Xuanming true water is one of the 9 true waters, representing the ultimate coldness, which can freeze everything. Ice and fire collided with each other, and the opposite energies confronted each other, annihilating each other and cancelling each other out. Pure yang true fire and Xuanming true water. There is no saying that who is stronger or weaker. There is only to see which side has more powerful magic power and can last longer. However, after 10 breaths, the power of pure yang true fire was increasing, while the power of Xuanming true water was decreasing. Whoosh. After a few flashes, the flames swept in, instantly annihilating Xuanming true water, and also annihilating the body of Xuanming Demon King. A generation of great demons could not last for 3 breaths under the pure yang true fire, and was burned to ashes. Hu 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 hu. Xuanji panted slightly, sitting upright, taking out some medium-grade spirit stones, to pretend to restore his mana. After about a quarter of an hour, he stood up, and looked at the direction of the demon clan, and said provocatively, "Yayo clan Jinden, who dares to fight me? Remember, my Taoist name is Xuanji Zenran. Who dares to fight?" The voice spread in all directions, and the taste of provocation became stronger. Too much. I'm going up. Kill without mercy. No. No. At this moment, countless demon clan Xuanji were angry, and wanted to go up to the ring and chop off Xuanji's dog head. But they were quickly stopped by their relatives. In the fierce battle until now, Xuanji has shown some of his trump cards and his brutal side. The general giant and big monsters who go up to the ring are just giving away their heads. Only those top giant and big monsters can compete with Xuanji, but the chance of winning also represents uncertainty and risk. Many giant and big monsters are thinking, if I go up to the ring, how to fight the enemy. At this moment, many nascent soul monsters had bloodshot eyes and lightning-like gazes, as if they wanted to stare him to death. Especially the Xuanwu lineage, they were even more murderous, as if they were going to go up to the ring and eat Xuanji directly. The Xuanwu lineage has a long lifespan and is considered an immortal species among the monsters, but the long lifespan is accompanied by a pitiful fertility, and the number of tribesmen is small. In particular, the number of pure-blooded Xuanwu is even rarer. As long as each pure-blooded Xuanwu does not fall halfway, the probability of entering the nascent soul is very high. But now it is good, and he was killed directly by Xuanji. Several demon kings of the Xuanwu lineage were even more eager to kill him. But he gritted his teeth and gave up. Daoyao, the human race has given birth to a genius, and there is hope for the future nascent soul. The Golden Crow Demon King said, looking at Xuanji with his eyes, as if he wanted to see through his details, and see through the mystery hidden in the fog. There is hope for the nascent soul. Haha, you are joking. Those giant and real people and giant and big monsters, who in their youth, were not called the nascent soul, but how many of them have entered the nascent soul realm? Kunpeng Monster King said, his words were full of contempt, but this human prodigy is indeed a bit difficult to deal with. The ordinary giant and big monsters are really not his opponents. Only the holy son of the Golden Crow lineage, that peerless monster, can suppress this human prodigy. The Golden Crow Monster King flashed a moment of hesitation. If the Golden Crow Holy Sun won, it would be fine, but if he failed, it would be a big loss. Patriarch, I will go up. At this moment, a blonde voice said, urging the token to turn into a ray of light, and stepped onto the stage. Swish. The blonde boy stepped onto the stage and stood opposite Lu Xuanji, his eyes flashing with golden light, as if he wanted to see through everything. Lu Xuanji, I know you. You were originally a disciple of a small immortal cultivation clan, and later you were valued by the Yi family, and also by Xiao Zhenjin. You rose from humble beginnings, and walked step by step to where you are today, achieving the golden elixir. You stand above 1 billion human beings, and millions of cultivators. If your life were written into a biography, and circulated in the mortal world, it would be quite inspiring. The Golden Crow Saint spoke, with admiration in his words, but when he said this, his tone became cold. But your life should end here. Today is the moment when your destiny ends. Really? It would be worth my life, to die in the hands of the Golden Crow Saint. Come on, beat me to death. Lu Xuanji laughed and said, you are just a flat-haired beast, just a three-legged crow. Why are you pretending to be so big-tailed? Why are you pretending to be so awesome? Believe it or not, I will beat you to death later. How dare you? I have the blood of the founder of the Golden Crow. I'm the darling of the sun of heaven, and the emperor of the demon race. I'm already a pure-blood 5th stage, and I have the hope of becoming a god in the future. How can a human slave like you compare to me? The Golden Crow Saint said contemptuously. His words were condescending. It was like the contempt of an emperor for the lowly poor. Although Lu Xuanji killed some golden elixir monsters, they were still lowly poor people in the eyes of the Golden Crow Saint. It was like Zhu Yuanzhang became the emperor, but many gentry still looked down on Zhu Yuanzhang, a poor beggar. Moreover, the Golden Crow Saint also had the capital to be proud. The demon race valued blood the most. Everything was inferior, only blood was high. A pure blood 6th stage monster had no bottleneck before becoming a god. He was proud in his bones and looked down on Lu Xuanji. The king is not proud of his bloodline, but the descendants of the king are proud of their bloodline. Just like the ancestor of the Golden Crow, he did not create supreme achievements because of the Golden Crow bloodline, but because of him, the Golden Crow bloodline became extremely noble. Lu Xuanji smiled faintly, clenched his fist, with a hint of murderous intent. Now, I will use my fist to smash the glory of your bloodline and smash your pride. Your so-called pride is not worth mentioning in the eyes of the strong. Chapter 343, Killing the Golden Crow Saint. Who listens to your nonsense? Kill. The Golden Crow Saint stepped forward, punching like thunder, and the flames on his fist surged, as if he was going to ignite the world and burn everything. The Golden Crow True Fire, burning everything. This punch echoed with the sun in the sky, and a trace of the power of the sun descended, melting the blood of the Tao, and increasing his own cultivation to a certain extent. Under the sunlight, his cultivation increased by 3 levels. Flat-haired beast, dare you call it the sun? Lu Xuanji took a step forward, white flames burning around him, his breath rising, and his blood surging around him, as if magma was boiling, as if a river was flowing, as if mountains and rivers were roaring. A punch blasted out in the air, breaking the sky with one punch. One punch suppressed the universe. Boom boom boom. The two collided with each other, fists collided with fists, and flames collided with flames. There was no skill to speak of, only a head-on collision. This is a manifestation of self-confidence and pride. Lu Xuanji stood still. The Golden Crow Saint also stood still. Kill. Lu Xuanji roared, and the pure yang power surged, blessing his body. His body exuded a brilliant light, as if forged by a magic weapon. Punch after punch blasted out, like raindrops, like a storm, sweeping everything, annihilating everything, suppressing everything. There is nothing that can't be solved with one punch. If it doesn't work, then punch again. The Golden Crow Saint also urged his fist, evolving into a flame burning away, and punching out. In his life, he has never retreated. Even if the human race is very powerful, it is still not a reason for him to retreat. Boom boom boom. On the ring, endless flames were burning. The white fire and the red fire mixed together, annihilating each other, and 2 figures on the ring collided with each other, simply and violently bombarding, like 2 planets colliding with each other. Abandon everything, only collision. Abandon everything, only fighting. After 100 moves, accompanied by a violent sound, the body of the Golden Crow Saint flew backwards, spitting out a mouthful of blood, staring at Lu Xuanji. Why are you so strong? This is only a part of my strength. Lu Xuanji said indifferently, pressing forward step by step, taking his life step by step. Kill. At this moment, the Golden Crow Saint's blood was burning, and the power of his whole body was bursting. His cultivation was increasing layer by layer, and his strength was skyrocketing. What a pity, what a pity. I didn't want to use the blood secret technique, but you forced me to do it. It's your pride to die in my hands. Lu Xuanji sighed and said, well, I will let you know what is a pride, and what is a truly invincible power. Boom. At this moment, Lu Xuanji activated the King Divine form, and suddenly the muscles of his body were changing, and his strength was strangely increasing. At the same time, a strong discomfort was surging. The upper limit of the physical body was broken, the upper limit of strength was broken, the upper limit of speed was broken, the upper limit of the soul was broken, and the upper limit of the true essence was broken. In an instant, all of them surged to 12 times. The beating of the heart was accelerating, as if the heart would explode in the next moment. At this moment, the blood in the body lost control, the yin and yang were in chaos, and the 5 element were in chaos. The realm did not change, but the body was in a state of collapse. Boom boom boom. A punch was thrown, and the air was exploding. The breath of destruction tore everything apart. No, I don't accept it. The Golden Crow Saint fought back, but his body was completely shattered and torn into 2 pieces on the spot. The scene was extremely tragic. Many demons looked at it, and their scalps were numb and their eyes were dull. The Golden Crow Saint, who was so majestic just now, and seemed to suppress everything, was beaten to death. His body was broken into 2 pieces, and his flesh and blood turned into mud. It was extremely miserable. I won't accept this. Father, help me. The Golden Crow Saint begged for help. Swish. The next moment, the Golden Crow Demon King was about to rescue him, but in an instant, 3 or 5 Demon Kings locked onto him and intercepted him on the spot. Emperor Shan, you are breaking the rules. The Kinkyo clan leader questioned. Emperor Shan, you are ruining the luck of my demon clan for him. Other demon clan leaders also stopped him. The Golden Crow clan leader would be impulsive, but they would not. The demon clan could not afford to tear up the contract if they attacked the monks on the ring in public. My son is about to be beaten to death. The Golden Crow clan leader said angrily. It's just that one son died, so just give birth to another one. Chief Kunpeng said sarcastically, as long as a man is alive, the dead are dead, it's no big deal. It's so humiliating to ask for advice. Another useless person with qualifications, but no state of mind. You. Chief Jinwoo said angrily, and was about to attack. Chief Kunpeng seemed to be impolite, and directly showed a terrifying aura to suppress everything. The other 8 chiefs also exuded a terrifying aura, and pressured Chief Jinwoo, as if persuading him to calm down. The Jinwoo clan is the royal family of the demon clan, but it does not represent the entire demon clan. If it is for the benefit of the Jinwoo clan and damages the interests of the demon clan, they will persuade him a little. If Chief Jinwoo chooses not to calm down, they don't mind taking action together to calm him down. Chief Jinwoo calmed down in anger, and sat upright on the throne. Looking at the arena, the pure yang true fire made a hissing sound, burning the flesh and blood of the Jinwoo Saint's son, refining his origin. Master Xuanji, even if I turn into a fierce ghost, I will take your life, and make you doomed. I curse you to die a violent death, curse you to die a bad death. My father will avenge me, and the Jinwoo clan will avenge me. If this man is not destroyed, how can the Jinwoo clan stand in the world? At this moment, the body of the Jinwoo Saint was broken into 2 pieces, and the flesh and blood turned into mud, but the vitality was still extremely strong, and he was still cursing, like a shrew throwing a tantrum. Everyone has to talk nonsense before they die. Lu Xuanji said calmly. The pure yang true fire was burning, the residual soul of the Jinwoo Saint was refined, and the body turned into ash. Only 3 drops of golden blood fell on the palm of his hand, and were finally collected in the bottle. Everyone watched this scene in silence. There was no discussion, no quarrel, and you could hear a pin drop. At this moment, everyone lost the urge to discuss, and some were just numb and helpless. It seemed that they didn't believe that this was true. He really killed the Golden Crow Saint. Among the Golden Crow clan, there was a great demon who was half a step into the Golden Core. He looked at this scene as if his wife had died, and his face was extremely ugly. This great demon was called Jinyuan. At the beginning, when he was a great demon building, he had fought a big battle with Xuanji, but he was slightly defeated and retreated. Xuanji could not kill him. But a few hundred years later, Jinyuan was already a half-step Golden Core. After a while, he could enter the Golden Core Demon King, and the Great Dao was expected. But Xuanji killed the Golden Crow Saint. Is this still the human junior he met in the past? Chapter 344 Asking seniors to help. The world was silent, as if there was only one person on the stage. This was Xuanji's stage. Xuanji stood there, wanting to say something pompous and pretentious. But his body was shaking, and his internal injuries were serious, so he stopped abruptly. Under the forced outburst of the Ant King's divine form, although his fighting power was strong, he was also seriously injured. His face was pale without a trace of blood, and he sat upright on the stage, and began to recuperate. The magic power of creation was running, repairing the injuries of his body, and the injuries were healing quickly. After about a quarter of an hour, Xuanji stood up and shouted, "Who dares to fight me?" Looking at the emperors of the demon clan, his eyes were even more provocative. The chief of the Jinwu tribe said angrily, "This junior is too much of a bully." The chief of the Kunpeng tribe also said, "That's right, the junior is too much of a bully, he should be killed." The chief of the Jinwu tribe said, "Why not let the holy son of Kunpeng go up and kill this junior chief of the Kunpeng tribe? Let my son go to take the blame. Dream on." The holy son of the Jinwu tribe is almost the ceiling of the golden elixir of the demon tribe. The holy son of the Jinwu tribe has fallen, and the other holy sons will also be in danger if they go up. It is extremely dangerous. If the chances of winning are great, it is understandable to go and kill the enemy, but if the chances of winning are slim, it is a bit stupid to send ahead. Not only the chief of the Kunpeng tribe, but other chiefs were also silent. The human race is a bit strong, why don't we admit defeat? The Golden Crow clan leader spoke, as if he was about to lie down. "My fellow Taoists, continuing to fight with the human race's genius will not be worth a loss, so it is better to let this human race go for the time being. Afterwards, we will think of a way to assassinate Xuanji." "What do you mean by let go?" The Golden Eagle clan leader said, "Just admit defeat, why bother to be so euphemistic?" The Golden Crow clan leader said, "Admit defeat. If you don't admit defeat, you can only fight on. My fellow Taoists plan to send that genius to die." The Kunpeng clan leader said, "That's right, let's admit defeat for now. Later, we can assassinate Xuanji. So what if he is a genius? A genius who dies halfway is nothing." Hearing this, the Xuanwu clan leader sneered, "Assassination, we can't beat them, so we can use assassination, which is embarrassing and disappointing. Afterwards, Xuanji must be cautious, and will not move out easily without entering the nascent soul stage. How difficult is it to assassinate him?" The Sky Swallowing Python clan leader said, "My fellow Taoists, have you forgotten that senior? No, if senior has an accident, we will suffer huge losses." The Golden Crow clan leader was the first to object. "No, the Kunpeng clan leader has always been against the Golden Crow clan leader. As the saying goes, if you insist, I oppose, and if you oppose, I insist." But at this moment, he nodded and said, "Senior, you can't take action." "Yes, Senior is the reincarnation of the god." The Xuanwu clan leader said, "If Senior takes action, this human child will definitely be killed, but if something unexpected happens, it will be a big loss." Many demon kings spoke up one after another, opposing the senior to take action. But everyone looked at each other, but there was an unspoken understanding. At the same moment, a big demon disappeared and went to inform someone. "Senior, we have encountered a difficult human cultivator. Senior, you can choose to refuse." At this moment, the message came from the jade slip. On the jade slip, there appeared a series of pictures, which were the scenes of Xuanji fighting against the demon clan's genius, especially killing the Golden Crow Saint. Interesting. Looking at the jade slip, the man in green said with a smile, that human genius is really powerful. He activated the secret technique to burst out 12 times the power. The general golden elixir monster is no match for him. However, such an explosive secret technique must cost a lot, and it may not be used next time. Besides, you can use some means to interrupt the explosion of his secret technique and give him a fatal blow. Just a rough look, the man found some flaws in Xuanji. He found the shortcomings of and King Divine form. Such an explosive secret technique is certainly powerful and murderous, but the corresponding shortcomings are also obvious. That is, on the eve of the explosion, it takes a certain period of time to accumulate power. If you grasp the key point, it is easy to break the accumulation and break such a secret technique. Just a junior, I will kill him. The man in green said with a smile, with a hint of contempt in his words. Interesting. Xuanji frowned slightly, feeling a little uneasy. In the uneasiness, there was a hint of excitement. In the near future, I will encounter a strong enemy who may bring me a crisis of death, but it will also bring me some great opportunities. Xuanji sensed it slightly, sensing a hint of danger in the dark, and a hint of supreme fortune. The essence of the world of cultivating immortals lies in competition. There are many geniuses, and countless geniuses will gather together under the guidance of the way of heaven, fighting together, competing for luck and destiny. The luck of the loser will flow into the winner. The more you fight, the more luck you gather, and finally you become the son of luck of an era, and have the hope of becoming an immortal. In this process of fighting, countless geniuses will fall halfway, and before they grow to their limit, they will go to extinction. Of course, some cultivators will say, I won't compete, I will just stay at home, practice hard for 1,000 years, and when I practice to be invincible in the world, I will conquer the world again. But in fact, it is impossible. As the saying goes, when you sit at home, disaster will come from the sky. The more some people want to avoid, the more they can't avoid it. There are always various disasters that fall on the cultivators and drag them into disaster and death. At this time, Xuanji felt that a great enemy was about to come. This is extremely dangerous, but it is also a supreme opportunity. Boom boom boom. At this moment, Xuanji thought about looking into the distance. A white light flashed, and a man in green stood on the ring. He had a majestic aura like a mountain, emitting a vague aura, which was impermanent and invisible, strange, and uncertain. He looked at Xuanji, as if he was looking at his prey. My name is Gu Changfeng. You and I will fight to the death. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. The winner takes all, and the loser loses everything. No one is left alive under my sword. So am I. Xuanji nodded and said, Your Excellency is a bit mysterious, and your aura is very ancient, more mysterious than the son of the golden crow. Gu Changfeng said, You guessed right. I shouldn't have participated in such a battle. I attacked you with a reputation of bullying the weak and an unfair victory, but there is no such thing as fairness in this world. I will not show mercy to you, just because you are young. Instead, I will try my best to kill you. Then do it. Xuanji smiled and said, Dao I want to kill me, and I also want to kill you. It depends on whose sword is sharper. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 345, Reincarnation. Looking at the two people on the stage, many demon kings breathed a sigh of relief and were full of confidence. Not long ago, a demon from the demon clan wanted to attack the senior, but his arm was cut off. The chief of the Jinwu clan spoke with a hint of admiration. The senior is the reincarnation of the spirit. How many trump cards do you have that are unknown to the public? How many killer moves do you have that are unknown to the public? The chief of the Kunpan clan said, I can't defeat the Yuanying with the giant in cultivation, only the senior can do it. The senior is a strong man of the spirit, standing above hundreds of millions of cultivators. Why did he reincarnate? Was he killed by a powerful enemy? The chief of the Xuanwu clan said. No, said the Golden Crow Demon King. Senior was already at the peak of the spiritualization realm and had comprehended a little of the mystery of the void. On the eve of entering the void refining realm, he gave up abruptly. Instead, he abandoned his cultivation and started over. It is said that Senior was trying to reach the 9th transformation of the golden core. The 8th transformation is flawed, but the 9th transformation is perfect. The talent of the 8th transformation is limited, but the 9th transformation has supreme potential. Senior, you have given up so much. I'm not as good as you, said the Kunpeng Demon King. Falling from the clouds to the mortal world, this gap is enough to make many big men collapse. But Gu Changfeng was good. He gave up everything and started from scratch. Everyone would say that they are willing to give up, but few people can really do this. Kill. Gu Changfeng took a step forward, and the long sword in his hand slashed down. This sword slashed down, and the mountains and rivers were broken, the people changed, and the years changed. This sword slashed out, and there was endless divine will in it. Ordinary golden cores would only be killed directly. Lu Xuanji rushed out with his fist. His magic power was running, evolving into a trace of life and death. The divine will of endless red dust was added to his body, as if he had become an ordinary being, with greatness in his humbleness, and forbearance in his ordinariness. Break it for me. Gu Changfeng's long sword was crisscrossed, with stars twinkling, as if evolving into an endless night, evolving into an endless starry sky, sweeping over in an instant, drowning Lu Xuanji. Dang dang. The two sides clashed together, and retreated at the same time. Gu Changfeng only retreated one step, but Lu Xuanji retreated 3 steps, slightly losing. You actually comprehended the divine will. At this stage, I'm not as good as you, Gu Changfeng said, but his killing intent became more solemn. He took a step forward, and stabbed out with his long sword again, with murderous intent in his ordinary moves. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and he punched out one after another. In an instant, the two sides exchanged 300 moves, and each collision was more fierce than the last. Gu Changfeng's sword became sharper and sharper, as if it could cut off everything. Lu Xuanji's fist became stronger and stronger, capable of destroying everything. During the battle, Lu Xuanji kept using his magical power and kept attacking. His attacks were fierce and rhythmic, and he was using his opponent to polish his body and tap his own potential. At this time, many demon kings were silent. They thought that Gu Changfeng would kill Lu Xuanji with 3 punches and 2 kicks, and who would have thought that the stalemate would not be able to determine the winner until now. God's will. This boy actually comprehended God's will, and he will become a great man in the future, the leader of the Jinwu clan said, wanting to comment on it, but he couldn't say anything. God's will. This is the key to entering the God of transformation. Comprehending God's will may not necessarily lead to becoming a God of transformation, but failing to comprehend God's will is destined to not become a God of transformation. Among 10 nascent soul cultivators, only 1 or 2 can comprehend God's will. In the golden core realm, comprehending God's will is even rarer. The senior has entered the stage of transformation for a longer time, and his level of divine will comprehension is higher. He is not comparable to Lu Xuanji. After all, his comprehension of divine will is limited, said the Kunpeng clan leader. I hope so, said the Xuanwu clan leader. Boom boom boom. On the ring, the 2 men clashed with each other, fought together, and fought bloody battles, tearing each other apart. In the early stage of the battle, Lu Xuanji was much inferior in terms of divine will and fighting skills. But in the battle, Lu Xuanji kept improving and transforming. As long as he was not killed quickly, he could improve in the battle. Both of them are peerless talents with great talents and strategies. I'm afraid that they will definitely show their prowess and dominate in the future. I wonder who will win in the end. Look. The senior activated the secret technique. Boom. 5-element great capture. Gu Changfeng stood there, like a god or demon, urging a secret technique. The air currents on his body intertwined, collided with each other, and evolved into a 5-colored palm rushing down from the sky, grabbing Lu Xuanji in midair. Woo woo woo. It seemed that the sky suddenly became dim. Lu Xuanji felt that all kinds of magical powers and spells in his body were suppressed, and the 10th level of cultivation was forcibly suppressed to the 7th level. 5-element heavenly sword. Yin-yang heavenly sword. Elemental magnetic heavenly sword. 3 swords merge into one. Cut. Lu Xuanji urged the secret technique. The yin and yang ki were flowing. The 5-element ki was changing. and the Yuan magnetic force was surging. The three completely different forces were forcibly merged together and turned into a 7-colored divine sword, slashing up. Bang bang. The two collided with each other and kept fighting. The 5-colored palm and the 7-colored divine sword kept fighting, and the destructive force swept in all directions, tearing everything apart and destroying all laws. During the confrontation, the 7-colored divine sword, which was originally somewhat discordant, gradually became harmonious. 7-colored divine sword, cut. Xuanji let out a long roar, and the power of the 7-colored divine sword increased. He chopped it up with a knife, and the 5-colored palm shattered. Gu Changfeng, however, vomited blood from his mouth and his breath was weak. Xuanji strode forward, his feet stepped on lotuses, and the 7-colored divine sword chopped it again, cutting the past and the present with one knife. Gu Changfeng urged the magic, and the 5-element of Qi in the Yuanshi Qi gathered together, turning into the 5-element of mixed primordial Qi, emitting colorful light, and resisting in front. The 7-colored divine sword chopped it on top, and the 5-element of mixed primordial Qi shattered more than half on the spot, but Gu Changfeng also took the opportunity to avoid the ultimate knife. The scattered mana gathered again, turning into the 5-element of grappling hands, suppressing it. Boom boom boom. The two sides fought bloody again, killing moves collided, and the tide of destruction came one after another. Crack. The 5-element great grasp was shattered again, and endless vitality scattered. Another slash of the sword shattered the 5-element primordial Qi completely, and a bloody mark appeared on Gu Changfeng's body. If he had dodged a little slower just now, he would have been cut in half. Gu Changfeng, prepare to die. Xuanji urged the 7-colored divine sword to slash down, as if to annihilate everything. You force me to do this. Gu Changfeng's eyes flashed with madness, and he urged the forbidden secret technique. Suddenly, the 5-colored light above his head condensed together and turned into a series of divine needles, stabbing and stabbing, specifically to break the aura. 5-element divine needle. Chapter 346 Kunpeng Xianzhen, save me. The 5-element divine needle is condensed from the 5-element evil spirits. It has a terrifying ability to break through defenses. It is specially designed to break through the protective Qi and can be said to be indestructible. Swish. The void flashed, and the 5-colored divine needles flew one after another, stabbing out continuously, with a fast and fierce speed. It was like rain, sweeping everything and drowning everything. Xuanji's expression did not move, and the 7-colored divine sword kept dancing. One after another, the sword Qi swept in, destroying everything, annihilating everything, fighting with the 5-element divine needle, and constantly cutting off the flying needles. The 5-element great capture turned into a 5-colored palm and slapped down. The 5-element Hunyuan Qi turned into a 5-colored light that entangled. At this moment, the three supreme magical powers all swept in, mighty and mighty, turning into a terrifying trend that swept everything, suppressed everything, and annihilated everything. Death is the mainstream, and destruction is eternal. Xuanji took a deep breath, and urged the 7-colored divine sword to fly up and down, slashing up and down, cutting off the 5-colored big hands, destroying the 5-element of mixed primordial Qi, and breaking the 5-element of divine needles. He let all kinds of killing moves sweep in, and destruction surged, but Xuanji's expression remained unchanged, and he chopped down the world with a long sword, and suppressed everything with a long sword. If it was at the beginning, he was still at a disadvantage, but with the battle, the more fierce the battle, the more fierce it became, like an immortal god of war, like an invincible god of killing, suppressing everything, and beating Gu Changfeng back again and again. His blood was violently fluctuating, and his mana was greatly depleted. Damn it. Why is he so powerful? Is he also a reincarnation of the gods? Such combat power is not something that a mere junior can control. Gu Changfeng retreated again and again, relying on the supreme secret technique, walking back and forth on the ring. After the fierce battle, he has already lost. In the battle, he has completely fallen behind. But Gu Changfeng was not discouraged at all. Instead, he was determined, and kept wandering around the ring, constantly consuming Xuanji's mana, relying on powerful skills to constantly counterattack. In the battle, he had to constantly consume his mana. But after a long battle, Lu Xuanji was still as brave as ever, but he was a little overwhelmed. Kunpeng Xianzhen, save me! Gu Changfeng shouted loudly. This is a life and death battle. Xianzhen will not take action. Lu Xuanji said, flashing his colorful long sword, ready to kill. But the next moment, a vast force enveloped the ring, and then a majestic voice rang out. This battle, your human race won, and the tillers of the clan Fortune belonged to you for 100 years, but God has the virtue of loving life, he cannot die. The battle is over. Boom. On the ring, the sky and the earth rotated, and unparalleled power poured down, shaking Lu Xuanji and Gu Changfeng apart. Later, a ray of light flashed, and took Gu Changfeng away directly. Lu Xuanji slashed down with his sword, but it hit nothing. What? This power? Lu Xuanji was shocked. This was the god of transformation taking action. At the critical moment, he saved Gu Changfeng. He didn't expect that in front of everyone, the god of transformation of the demon clan actually took action, just to prevent him from killing Gu Changfeng. Dao, what do you mean? At this moment, a voice came from the direction of the human race. He can't die. I'm his protector, and will definitely protect his safety. As for violating the contract, I, the 10,000 mountains, am willing to pay an extra layer of luck to buy Changfeng's life. The god of transformation of the demon clan said. As he spoke, the voice disappeared. Yes. The heavenly venerable of the human clan said, and also turned into silence and disappeared. From the beginning to the end, it was just a few short words. But the demon king of the demon clan and the true lord of the human clan were all in an uproar, with surprise, confusion, and a hint of horror in their eyes. The heavenly venerable has taken action. In the past, Shu and Ashen had fought with the Chu state, and the Yu state for a long time. There were many bets and fights, and each had its own winners and losers, but the heavenly venerable has taken action. This is the first time. The heavenly venerable actually gave up a layer of the demon clan's luck to buy his life. Gu Changfeng's identity is not simple. He can't be the heavenly venerable's biological son. No. On the stage, several of the heavenly venerable's sons died, and the heavenly venerable didn't take action. Trouble. There is a problem. Everyone spoke up, and talked about it. Swish. The next moment, Lu Xuanji flew down the stage. When he walked down the stage, he was very careful, and his nerves were tense, for fear that the demon clan would not follow the moral code of martial arts and directly attack him. At this moment, a guiding light fell on him and disappeared. The battle is over. After this battle, the whole world was in an uproar. The name of Xuanji Zhenren intimidated the world, and everyone in the world knew his name. Xuanji Zhenren's battle helped the human race seize the 2 layers of luck of the demon race in the 100,000 mountains, and he can be said to be a great contributor to the human race. The human race was cheering and celebrating. Of course, there were also people who held a grudge, and were boiling with murderous intent towards Lu Xuanji. Similarly, some Yuan great demons were also murderous towards Lu Xuanji, and they would not mind chopping him to death, if they had the chance. Urging the divine will, endless red dust, Lu Xuanji felt a lot of murderous intent, and it seemed that the murderous intent was about to drown. It was just a moment of perception. Lu Xuanji ended the perception. What if you hate me? If you have the ability, the Yuan great demon can kill him to the territory of the human race. The result is that it is impossible for ordinary small demons to reach the territory of the human race. It is not a big problem, and many powerful people are too lazy to pay attention. But if a Yuan great demon dares to break into the territory of the human race, it may be surrounded and killed soon. Not being hated is mediocre. If you want to rise and succeed, you must be hated by others. After defeating Gu Changfeng Buddha, he felt that his luck was much stronger, like a burning flame, as if it was going to sweep everything. Luck is like fire. With such strong luck, he felt that, if he walked around outside, a magic weapon would automatically fall at his feet. If he jumped off a cliff casually outside, he would encounter the treasure of his predecessors. If he walked around outside casually, he could be a hero, and save the beauty, and he could be loved by the beauty and pledge his love to her. With such luck, the speed of cultivation was also increased to a certain extent. If someone wanted to assassinate him, or plot against him, he might have such an idea just now, and a disaster would befall him, and he would be entangled with calamity. If someone wanted to plot against him, he might soon encounter bad luck, either going crazy while meditating or tripping over a stone while walking on the road. Even if he was besieged by a strong enemy, he could escape danger and get some adventures later. This is the bonus of the Son of Luck. The Son of Luck brings a terrifying effect. Of course, such a bonus is only limited to the territory of Chu. If he left the state of Chu, his luck would drop a lot, and the protection of his luck would be much lower. At the moment, when his luck was strong, no senior would take action against him. Chapter 347, Luck Protection. Under the protection of the rich luck, Xuanji became the most beloved child of heaven and earth. Is this luck? Is this the favor of fate? Xuanji looked up at the sky, as if he wanted to understand something, but the sky was still blue with white clouds floating by, without any change. In a trance, Xuanji thought of the understanding of fate, luck, and destiny in the Great Wish technique. In the vast world, some geniuses will be born with outstanding qualifications, talents, and amazing wisdom. Unfortunately, many people do not get the favor of fate and die early. As for what man can conquer nature, it is just the wail of a defeated dog. Many cultivators firmly believe that man can conquer nature and think that hard work can change everything and overcome everything, but unfortunately they are slapped in the face by reality again and again. Only those who are favored by fate can rise. In the past, the perception of fate and destiny was not obvious, but now it is becoming clearer and clearer. Luck brings various benefits and welfare compared to the improvement of luck. The hatred, jealousy, assassination and the like of some monks are minor matters. In a valley in the Xuan Mountains, there is a thatched hut. The thatched hut is made of bamboo and straw, and looks very ordinary, just like a mortal's house. In front of the thatched hut, an old man with a grey beard was sitting, drinking tea leisurely, with a relaxed and comfortable look. Opposite the old man, there was a man in green clothes, holding a gourd in his hand, drinking wine, with bloodshot eyes, unwillingness, and a hint of anger. I lost, and caused you to lose 2 levels of the luck of the demon race, Gu Changfeng said with murderous intent in his eyes. Master Xuanji, is he the reincarnation of a god? No. The old man put down his teacup and said, I have investigated all kinds of information about Xuanji. He was born in the Lu family. The Lu family is just a small family with a purple mansion cultivator, which is very inconspicuous. It is said that when Xuanji was a child, his parents called him the reincarnation of a true master. But now it seems that he is not the reincarnation of a true master at all. His parents are just ordinary little cultivators who passed away not long ago. I have a lot of information. If you want to confirm his identity, you have to spend some money to deduce his life trajectory. As a result, I found that he is not a reincarnated person. Gu Changfeng said, he is not a reincarnated person, but he defeated me. Whether it is comprehension, aptitude, luck, etc., he is far beyond us. If he continues to grow, once he becomes a powerful cultivator, he will become a big worry for our demon clan. Kill him. He said this with murderous intent. There is no regret medicine in life, but reincarnation once is equivalent to taking regret medicine. The reincarnation of those powerful people is very unfair to ordinary people. Those reincarnated masters have the cultivation insights and experience of their previous lives, as well as the connections of their previous lives. They cultivate quickly, have almost no bottlenecks, and have strong combat power at the same level. Those so-called geniuses often lose miserably when they encounter reincarnated masters. It's not that they are not excellent, but that those reincarnated masters are cheating. The two are at different starting lines, and the reincarnated masters have been running for a while. But Xuanji is not a reincarnated master, but he defeated him. What a peerless Avildoer. Kill him, I know that. The old man said with a wry smile. At the moment, when I saved you, I also wanted to kill Xuanji, and kill a future powerful enemy for the demon clan, even if it is shameful to do so. But when I was about to make a move, I felt a palpitation. Just tell me directly, even if I make a move at that time, I can't kill Xuanji. Maybe Xuanji has a trump card, and can escape with his life. It is also possible that some human heavenly master will take action to resist my fatal blow. There may be other reasons. At this point, the old man said again, not long ago, I planned to activate a traitor in the state of Chu and let this traitor take action to assassinate Lu Xuanji. But just when this idea arose, I felt a calamity on my head, as if once I acted, something ominous would happen. Lu Xuanji himself has great luck. After seizing 2 levels of luck from the demon clan, he became the son of luck of the state of Chu. In the territory of Chu, no one can kill him, or killing him will cost a huge price. I can't afford such a price. Gu Changfeng listened, his eyes boiling with killing intent, but then turned into helplessness. The son of luck is very lethal, especially when his luck is strong. It is very difficult to kill him. The old man said, the son of luck is not unkillable. There are also cases where the son of luck has been killed. First, in Chu, Lu Xuanji's luck is the strongest, but if he leaves Chu, his luck will decline, and he can be killed. Second, luck is not omnipotent. If there is a cultivator who can suppress the backlash of luck with his strong strength, he can also kill the son of luck. The spirit transformation is still unable to resist the backlash of luck, but the refining void can resist it. At this time, if there is a refining void who can directly take action, see if he can suppress the national destiny of Chu, he can also forcibly kill Lu Xuanji under the protection of luck. Third, if there is a genius of the younger generation who defeats Lu Xuanji, the favor of fate will disappear from him and transfer to others. Fourth, luck will not favor a person for a long time. The luck of Chu will stay on Lu Xuanji for 100 years at most. After 100 years, his luck will decline and fall into the valley of luck. When that happens, when his luck is at a low point, heavenly tribulations, human tribulations, and life tribulations will surge in together. How long can he hold on when luck goes and tribulations come? Now is not the best time. It is best to wait for a while, until he impacts the nascent soul 100 years later, and then make a move on him. The old man said, analyzing the future timing and changes in the situation. 100 years. Gu Changfeng said, 100 years later, it will certainly be the time when his luck is at its lowest, but he will also turn into a real dragon at that time. Can we succeed? In my perception, now is the best time to take action. I do know a senior who is a refining novice, but that senior lives in seclusion and is calculating the changes in the heavens. He will not take action against a giant and Xuanji because he is disdainful. The old man said, in the eyes of that senior Yang, he has seen too many geniuses. A mere human genius is not worth his effort. Gu Changfeng said in silence. Big figures must consider the overall situation. If they pay too much attention to the overall situation, they will not grasp the details well, and it is easy to raise a tiger for trouble. Raising a tiger for trouble is nothing more than this. Chapter 348 5-Colored Heavenly Lord, Fear. Under the thatched hut, the old man was leisurely and comfortable, but Gu Changfeng was a little anxious. We are raising a tiger now to cause trouble. When his luck runs out 100 years later, we may not be his opponent. Gu Changfeng said, by then, the young dragon will become a real dragon, and we will miss the best opportunity. He may become a powerful god transforming master, or even a powerful virtual refining master in the future. The old man laughed and said, there are countless possibilities in life. Lu Xuanji may fall halfway and die young. He may become a god transforming master, or even a powerful virtual refining master. But in the history of the Eastern Wilderness, it's not that the human race has not produced powerful virtual refining masters, but my demon race still exists. Everything is about balance. The human race will not destroy the demon race, and the demon race will not destroy the human race, because there is no need. It is not good to break the balance rashly. Only those small characters have a small vision, and think about fighting and killing. They say that those who are not of our race must have different hearts. Can the same race work together? It's impossible. When 3 people gather together, there will be conflicts. Even if the human race produces top-level masters, the demon race will be left behind. At most, the demon race will have a harder life. The existence of the demon race can also ease the internal disputes of the human race. Gu Changfeng sighed and said, Dao, you will regret it. The old man smiled and said, regret, that is a matter of the future. As for now, I can't kill him. Gu Changfeng said, Dao, I plan to leave and go to Zhongzhou. The old man was silent and said, the stage in Zhongzhou is more chaotic and there are more disputes. I can't protect AOI out there. Gu Changfeng's eyes flashed with a trace of determination and a trace of unyielding. I'm already the 8th turn of the golden elixir. If I want to enter the 9th turn of the flawless golden elixir, I need to absorb immortal gold. But there is no immortal gold in the East Wilderness. Only some hidden places in Zhongzhou have immortal gold. This is my chance. In this life, if I can't condense the 9th turn, I might as well become a Dao. When he said this, a trace of madness flashed in his eyes. Originally, he planned to stay for a while, constantly polishing his foundation, so that he could survive better in Zhongzhou. But after being defeated by Lu Xuanji, he completely determined his Dao heart. He can't stay, and he can't hesitate. If he hesitates any longer, the situation will become more critical. Losing once is not terrible, but losing again and again is terrible. Losing once or twice is not terrible, and you can still say that you are neither arrogant nor discouraged. But if you lose too many times, then you will be deceiving yourself. If you still say that you are invincible. Good. Have a good journey, fellow Taoist. I hope you will have a chance to achieve the Dao and refine the void. The old man said, I still have some connections in Zhongzhou, and I can protect you. But you still have to be careful. People in Zhongzhou do not have martial ethics. If they can't fight alone, they will fight in groups. If they can't fight in groups, they will call their parents or use high-level spiritual treasures to hit them. If you encounter danger, fellow Taoist, don't hold on. Remember to run away more often. It's not shameful to lose. If you have a green mountain, you will not be afraid of having no firewood to burn. Gu Changfeng also smiled and said, I will pay attention. I'm not a useless person who can't afford to lose. The old man gave instructions and some words of instructions. There was worry in his words, and more helplessness. This good friend, in terms of talent and understanding, is better than him. As for the shortcomings, he is too proud and arrogant. He persuaded him several times, but it was useless. There was no other way. This friend had been pushing forward from key training to the peak of the spiritualization stage, suppressing powerful enemies without any defeat. Such a life experience also destined him to be somewhat arrogant. Until he met Lu Xuanji, he suffered his first major defeat in his life. Such a major defeat made him somewhat hysterical and mentally collapsed, but fortunately he managed to hold on. But later he went from one extreme to another. Boom boom boom. In the depths of the 100,000 mountains, in the Qilin Mountains, a terrifying aura suddenly rose. The aura evolved in the void and turned into colorful colors. The colorful light swept across 100 miles of land. The void was making waves, and a huge purple Qilin stood on the clouds and roared. After a long time, the vision disappeared. At a certain peak, the door of the cave opened, and a woman in a skirt walked out. She was wearing a light green dress. Her long hair was golden, her skin was as delicate as white snow, and her bright eyes were like stars. Her graceful figure, with a protruding front and a curved back, showed off her feminine style. Sister, come and see me. At this moment, a voice came. After hearing the news, the blonde disappeared and arrived in a cave a moment later. Third brother, what happened? Qilin Saint asked. Sister, 5 colors heavenly venerable was defeated by Lu Xuanji. The Qilin clan leader laughed and said, the human race genius who lost to you that year has already had the potential to transform into a dragon. No, he has become a real dragon. At least many demon kings want to tear him apart, but they can't do anything to him. As he said that, he handed over a jade slip. Qilin Saint took the jade slip with a complicated expression. The reincarnation of the god of transformation was defeated by him. How can I still defeat him? This life is the second life of Qilin Saint. In the first life of Qilin Saint, she was the emperor of the Qilin clan and the sister of the current Qilin clan leader. She cultivated to the half-step god of transformation realm, and failed when she was about to reach the god of transformation. On the eve of her death, she reversed her fate, and lived a second life. With the help of the foundation of the first life, she has a great confidence in entering the god of transformation. But Lu Xuanji was good. He defeated the reincarnation of the god of transformation, the 5-colored heavenly venerable directly. The 5-colored heavenly venerable may not be known to the younger generation, but he is well known and famous among the older generation. He is a peak existence of the god of transformation, but he was defeated by Lu Xuanji. Is he the reincarnation of the heavenly venerable, or the reincarnation of the great power? Asked the Kilin Saint. No, neither. The Kilin clan leader said, I activated the Kilin eyes to see through the origin of his soul. Although the fog blocked some things from being seen clearly, I could see some things. He is not the reincarnation of the god of transformation, nor the reincarnation of the refining void, but just an ordinary human cultivator. The Kilin Saint said, such a human monster is even more terrifying, and he should be killed. The Kilin clan leader said, many insiders have already taken action, but it is hard to say whether they will be killed or not. The human race strongmen are not made of paper, and Xuanji is also a first-class strongman. It is extremely difficult to kill him in the human race's territory. However, whether it succeeds or not, it will take several attempts. Otherwise, how can he be willing? Will Kunpeng Xianzhen take action? Asked the Kilin Saint. No, the stronger one is, the more he cares about his own luck and his own path. He won't, and he dares not. The Kilin clan leader laughed and said, in this world, only the weak will sacrifice their lives for the strong, and make selfless contributions, but there are strong people who fight for the weak and fight for their lives. Chapter 349, within 10 steps, I will keep you safe. In the past, he was so dirty that he was insignificant, but he became famous overnight. With the gambling fight on the ring, 3 battles ended. In this battle for luck, the human race lost 2 and won. But in the end, it was the human race that won. It was only because Xuanji won in the last battle and won 2 levels of luck from the 100,000 Mountains Monster Clan. This was a huge loss for the Monster Clan, but a huge gain for the human race. The human race was boiling and cheering. This means that for at least 100 years, the human race will suppress the Monster Clan, not only in terms of face and inside, but also in terms of huge luck. In just 100 years, the true state will have many talents, and the probability of breaking through the realm will also increase accordingly. Some people are happy, some are sad, and some are boiling with murderous intent, as if they want to completely annihilate him. At this time, in the cave, a guest came. It was Xuanji. At this time, she was wearing a white palace dress, with a golden phoenix hairpin on her head, and holding a large gourd in her hand. He waved and threw a large gourd, saying, this is your reward. Xuanji took the gourd, and weighed it carefully. He saw that there were natural Dao patterns inside. This was a naturally grown spiritual treasure that had not yet been forged, and had infinite possibilities. This gourd was one of the rewards for the arena competition. Xuanji introduced, in the Jinwu lineage, there is a 6th grade spiritual root that can produce a gourd every 300 years. The gourd has natural Dao patterns inside, which is the supreme material for forging magic weapons. With a little sacrifice, it can be transformed into a 5th grade magic weapon. You can sacrifice this gourd a little and turn it into a wine god gourd, or a medicine gourd, or a fairy slaying gourd, or a poisonous insect gourd, or other things. It is equivalent to rewarding a 5th grade magic weapon. Is there any problem with this gourd? Xuanji asked with a frown. No problem. Xuanji smiled and said, don't worry about this. I have a 5th grade medicine gourd, which can nourish the elixir and store it for a long time. You can try to refine the gourd into the magic weapon in your heart. Oh, and these. As he said that, he handed over another storage bag. Xuanji opened it and put 100,000 middle grade spirit stones, 10,000 high grade spirit stones, and some divine materials in it. 100,000 middle grade spirit stones would be fine, but more than 10,000 high grade spirit stones are so expensive that even Yuan Ying's engine was moved by it. It can be said to be a large sum of money. Thank you. Xuanji said. You deserve these. After all, you almost killed a reincarnated heavenly lord. Xuanji smiled and said, a reincarnated god of transformation controls the will of God in the 3 supreme magical powers. Each of the magical powers has at least reached the level of great success. But when he met you, he was unlucky. He was knocked to the ground by your long sword and almost died. It was also thanks to the intervention of Taoist Master Kunpeng, otherwise a reincarnated god of transformation would have fallen in your hands. Xuanji took a deep breath and said, am I that awesome? I almost killed a reincarnated god of transformation. Xuanji was speechless. This prospective Taoist partner was very smart in some aspects, but very dull in some aspects. 5-colored heavenly venerable is the supreme power of the 100,000 Mountains demon clan. He is a great cultivator of the 9th level of the spiritual transformation, and has comprehended a trace of the mystery of nothingness. His divine willies, sword breaks mountains and rivers, and he is proficient in the 3 supreme magical powers of the 5-element Great Capture, the 5-element Hunyuan Key, and the 5-element Divine Needle. Among the older generation, he is well known, and has dominated an era. For some reason, he reincarnated and came back to cultivate again. He only has the giant and cultivation level, but he is also overwhelming. At least I can't beat him at the giant and level. Those reincarnated people have memories of their previous lives, which is equivalent to cheating to some extent. 5-colored heavenly venerable, when he was alive, had many good friends and blood descendants. The Kunpeng demon clan is one of his good friends, and one of his protectors. At that time, in order to rescue him, the Kunpeng demon clan also paid a huge price. Xuanji spoke, telling the story of 5-colored heavenly venerable and the story of Kunpeng heavenly venerable. Xuanji listened, and felt a slight toothache. It turns out that Gu Changfeng is so awesome, I underestimated him. Jinden becomes a real person, Yuanying becomes a real monarch, and Huashan becomes a celestial master. He almost chopped down a celestial master. Am I really that powerful? Xuanji said. Xuanji smiled and said, do you know what is being spread out there? Everyone is saying that Master Xuanji has the talent for transformation into a god, and when he was born, purple air was floating for 3,000 miles. Master Xuanji's mother often said that my son Xuanji has the talent for being a heavenly venerable. Your reputation is spread throughout the world. Xuanji shook his head and said, this is flattery. It's good that you understand. Xuanji said, the so-called talent of a true lord and the talent for transformation into a god. You can just listen to it outside. Don't take it seriously. Among 10 people with the talent for transformation into a god, it's good enough if one can reach the level of transformation into a god. Do you know that there are countless monsters out there who want to kill you? There are also countless powerful human beings who want to kill you. Of course, for some reasons, they can't do it openly. But if you are alone, they don't mind killing you. A tall tree attracts the wind, and the wind shakes the tree. A famous person loses his life because of his fame. Xuanji said, I know, but for the sake of luck, I have to do this. Xuanji said, for safety, you must not be 10 steps away from me. Within 10 steps, I will keep you safe. But beyond 10 steps, I'm not sure. Xuanji nodded and agreed, and said with a little worry, what if the demons attack my Lu family? No. Xuanji said, before you are killed, the Lu family is safe. They can't afford such a price. Even if the worst result occurs, and the Lu family is destroyed, as long as you live to marry a wife and concubines, take in more than 30 female cultivators, and continue to have children. Maybe in 300 years, there will be another Lu family. Destroying the Lu family is not very meaningful to the demons. Of course, I can only guarantee the general safety of the Lu family. If any cultivators go outside and are killed by some cultivators, I can't do anything about it. Xuanji said gratefully, thank you. Let's go. Xuanji said. A moment later, the two of them sat on the flying boat and disappeared. Looking at the two people going away, countless cultivators flashed murderous thoughts, and malicious intent was surging, but it turned into silence in an instant. Interesting, it's not easy to kill with Xiao's engine guarding him. Xiao's engine, you don't want to take advantage of the young. I think it's possible. You old shameless bitch. Countless people were ready to assassinate Xuanji. Of course, many assassins might have been killed before they even came into contact with Xuanji. The situation was fluctuating, and countless people were calculating and planning. It was only a moment before they arrived at the Lu family. Xuanji arranged everything and began to distribute rewards. The monks who participated in the battle cheered. As for those monks who did not participate in the battle, they were envious and regretful. Chapter 350 Sisters Conversation. Time passed, and after staying at the Lu family for a year, Xuanji arranged everything for the Lu family. At the same time, Xuanji also began to confront Yuan, i.e. sister, Come with me, let's live together in Xiang Mountain. Jinzi said, I once told Xuanji not to leave me within 10 steps. Within 10 steps of me, I will keep you safe. Xuanji has deep feelings for you, and I don't want him to cry because of your death. Senior, what do you mean? Yuanai asked. Especially for the word sister, she was a little flattered. The old ancestor Jin used to be her idol, the person she admired in her heart, but now this senior called her sister. There is only one explanation, that is, he has taken a fancy to her Taoist partner. Do they have to share a husband? But the senior is such a proud person, how could he take a fancy to him? It's nothing. When we get to Xiang Mountain, the three of us can live together. Jinzi said, that's my territory. It's safer to live there. Yuanai said, senior, are you interested in my husband? Yes. Jinzi said, trying her best to appear calm, but her face blushed when she said it. Yuanai was puzzled and said, senior, you are a Yuanying Zenjin. Why do you like my husband? Outsiders call my husband your highness and say that he has the qualifications to become a god, but that is just flattery. You won't believe it, will you? What kind of person are you? You are a high and mighty being. Why do you want to compete with me for my husband? If we share the same husband, wouldn't that be a disgrace to you, senior? Jinzi blushed, but still said, at the beginning, I was a high and mighty giant and Zenran, and Xuanji was just a foundation building cultivator. We seemed to be two beings on different paths and had no communication with each other. Later, when I was preaching on Xiang Mountain, he sat among the crowd and listened. At that time, he was very inconspicuous. I set up 3 levels of tests. After the test, I found that he was a man of great luck, so I decided to take him as my disciple. He refused, and it didn't matter at that time. I just thought he was interesting and paid some attention to him. Later, I fell into the trap of the Jinwu tribe. My soul was injured, and my life was in danger. It was at that time that he sent me the Bushan key to help me heal the injury to my soul, so that I could survive. He saved my life. In order to reward him, I'll let him enter the Yuhua Tower to gain some benefits. As expected, he is a cultivator with great luck. After entering the Yuhua Tower, he transformed from a mortal body to a pure Yang Taoist body, and also obtained an unparalleled treasure. As a result, he did not keep it for himself, but gave it to me. At that time, I was a little moved, and even used the treasure of the tribe to cut out a clone. Later, I planned to impact the 9th transformation of the Golden Core, but the 9th transformation was too difficult, and I was in danger of death. It was he who saved me and helped me enter the 9th transformation of the Golden Core. Not only that, when I was impacting the nascent soul, I was in danger of death, and then with the help of his luck, I succeeded. As the saying goes, a life-saving grace should be repaid with one's body. I'm a bad guy. I like to play tricks on others, and I decided to repay him for saving my life 3 times in a row. I can't live without him anymore, and I plan to spend the rest of my life repaying him for saving my life. Xuanji is very powerful. He may become a nascent soul or even a god in the future, but that is in the future. There are countless possibilities and variables in the future. Too many geniuses die in disasters. Many people lack background, backing, and protection from strong people, so it's a pity that they die. I'm willing to be his protector, to shield him from some storms and various open and secret struggles. If you want to kill Xuanji, then step over me. Having said this, Jinzi's eyes flashed with determination and no regrets. Sister Wanai, if you feel wronged and want a divorce, I can give you some resources to support you all the way to the nascent soul stage. Husband and wife should be together and part ways amicably and not become enemies. Yuanai looked at him silently and said, when I married my husband, I didn't think much about it. I just wanted to repay the family's kindness in raising me. But later, my husband was very good to me, and he had a double rest technique. That kind of double rest technique didn't help my husband much, but it helped me a lot. Later, he transformed my spiritual roots for me, and the water and fire spiritual roots turned into ice spiritual roots, and my mortal body turned into an ice soul Taoist body. Originally, I could only become a purple mansion at most, but I forcibly became a golden elixir. I kept breaking my own limits. But correspondingly, my husband also lost a lot. Because refining pills and cultivating spiritual medicines took too much time, the speed of cultivation dropped a lot. According to his qualifications, he could have condensed a golden elixir 100 years earlier. But for me, for the Liu family, it was delayed for 100 years. Many times, the Liu family, the elder, we have dragged down his cultivation. Xuanji talked ramblingly, talking about the past when the two of them got along. Talking about happy things, she couldn't help but laugh. Many times, Xuanji was like a child, with a stubborn character and a little reluctant. He was reluctant to give up too many things, wanted everything, wanted to keep everything, and carried the burden forward, which dragged down his own cultivation speed. But he didn't care about these. In his eyes, immortality and cultivation have never been important, but cherishing the people in front of him. At this point, Xuanji shouted, "Sister, you have to take care of your husband more in the future." Xuanji said, "When we arrived at Xiang Mountain, the three of us lived together. There are some things I don't understand, and my sister needs to give me more advice." Xuanji suddenly asked, "Sister, are you together?" Xuanji blushed and said, "Not yet." "You are polite." Xuanji smiled. At this close contact, this legendary woman is no different from a little girl. I don't know how my husband could win the heart of such a woman. As for the life-saving grace, the idea of repaying with one's body can be regarded as a joke, but it can't be taken seriously. There are many ways to repay the life-saving grace, and it is not necessary to repay with one's body. If there is no love, no matter how many life-saving graces are given, it will be in vain. Xuanji said, "My husband, during a lucky break, I got a double rest method called yin-yang transformation. There are no taboo secrets, no supreme killing moves, no top-level magical powers, but it just increases the interest of men and women. If you are together in the future, you can have a double rest together." As she said, she began to talk about the content of the scripture. Xuanji listened with surprise on her face. It turned out to be yin-yang transformation. "But sister, don't spread it out. If you spread it out, some old monsters will come to the door and cause trouble. You are really lucky and have a great opportunity." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.